We are now live.
Okay, I found a meme on Umineko Twitter because I haven't checked it in a while. It's been a while. Um, I'm not gonna read all of it out just because it's YouTube sensitive. But it says Kinzo was a something, Kraus was a bully, Ava was a control freak, Rudolph was a womanizer, Rosa was a child abuser, and then it caps it off by saying Hideyoshi was fat. Accept it. At the end of the day, you only care about the murders.
Dang.
And I'm like, what did he do?
What? Not Kenzo. You said Kenzo in the stream, and it made me think of Hideyoshi out here catching strays.
Yes. He didn't do anything, man. Let my man go. Oh. My shoulder hurts.
All right. Well, our audio sounds good.
Good. I'm trying to remember what happened last time.
We started episode 6. No. We continued episode 6.
Indeed.
And gosh, what did happen last time?
That's what I'm trying to see.
A little bit of stuff
Kanon.
a little bit of stuff
Kanon
on the game board started happening. Shannon and Kanon stuff happened.
Yeah. Kanon straight up was like, I love you.
Mm-hmm. Kanon and Jessica are an item this time.
Yeah.
And we had some Beatrice stuff where she went and met Featherine and Anja and learned everything about the past 5 games before this one.
Yeah.
To try to be like the Beatrice that Battler wants. But she still can't get it. She doesn't understand completely how to do it. But then she went and looked at the portrait to be like, I don't get you. What do I do? And then the portrait became another Beatrice. Now there are 2 of them.
Beatrice the Elder.
Now there are 2 Beatrices, heavily implying the whole, Beatrice is like this amalgamation of stories that are told about her, because the Elder Beatrice is the one from before basically anything having to do with Battler. Because she doesn't get why the other Beatrice really likes Battler and lives to serve him. But at the same time, cannot deny that she is definitely still a part of the whole of Beatrice. So.
Yeah.
And I still have no idea who Beatrice is really yet.
No. I'm trying to remember what else was mentioned that's of note. Erika Furudo fell off the boat again.
Yeah, true.
And she was like, I'm ready!
Yeah, she was ready to go.
I'm ready for the Thunderdome! Oh, that's right. It was all the puzzles. They did the puzzles with the kid in the book.
That's right.
And she kept solving them.
Yeah, everyone is getting annoyed. And the chapter name was The Annoying Guest. Yep. That's right. I'm remembering it all now. It's all coming back to me.
Yeah, it's been a while. We had to schmoove last time because I had a real-life obligation I had forgotten about. But
Now, just before we get started, puzzle. I do think you might be a little bit quiet right now. I'm not entirely sure.
I'll do it.
Okay.
Watch me. Witness me. Can I move this one down? Am I quiet?
Nope.
Can I move it back up? Am I louder?
Nope.
Okay, then it's going to be this one. Am I quiet?
Oh, you're super quiet.
How am I now?
I think you sound a little bit louder.
Okay, how about now?
Now you sound pretty good.
Okay.
Okay.
There we go. I didn't blow out any eardrums.
All right, well, without further ado, let's get back into it.
Yeah. We're getting into a chapter called The Source of Magic.
Oh boy.
Dang. Starting off with her. Okay, I see you. Back then, I was, and I guess I still am, a bit of a klutz. always forgot where I'd put things, or think I'd looked something up when I'd actually forgotten. I'd caused a lot of trouble. I remember how Aunt Natsuki used to get mad at you all the time.
But eventually, Shanna managed to overcome all that forgetfulness.
Oh? And how'd you do that?
It wasn't anything big, but I got into the habit of writing things down. I'd write down wherever I put something important. For things that happened often, I made a checklist and always made sure to check it. Innovation. So, did you see Beatrice or didn't you?
Oh, okay, that's what we're on. I thought she was just saying so to be an asshole.
True. It's not cool to just write letters or write reminders. Anyone can do that, stupid.
Just have a photographic memory like me.
Oh, I didn't see her directly, but, well, some very strange things did happen.
She was talking about a certain summer night. Shannon had been doing the nightly rounds. From her perspective, it was a ghost story. From the witch's perspective, it was just the story of a little summer's night prank. Are we gonna ping pong back and forth between...
I don't know.
Yes.
Gosh, okay. Little sister, do you understand the anti-magic toxin that humans possess? Look, it's me. No. What is it, One-sama? Well, the time of witches is long since past. Those vile humans who claim to rule over everything came to deny our existence and possess a powerful toxin. Is that toxin harmful to us? It is extremely dangerous. If we were exposed to it, our forms would probably evaporate in an instant. However, one thing we do have in our favor is the fact that our existence is still extremely weak. Because of that, the toxin does not affect us greatly. At worst, it can only transform us into a mist for a time. However, we'd rather avoid it if we can, right? Correct. Yes, I see that you are indeed me. You catch on quickly.
The older sister appeared to be haughty at first, but perhaps because she was so happy to have met her double and little sister, she was more than willing to teach her anything she wanted to know. I am gonna say, perhaps we might have overcorrected, because now I think you're just a little loud. Because
No! I'm gonna do it. Okay, it's right in the middle now.
okay, that sounds good. It might have just been me. It might have just been me thinking I was hearing things, and you might not have actually been that quiet. I don't know. Okay, yeah, we sound good. Okay. The first thing she taught was that they were witches, a different type of being than humans. Beato had thought her inability to use magic meant she wasn't a witch, but apparently she was still... Excuse me, oh my goodness. A little bit of air caught in my throat.
Yeah, I took a drink and I started coughing.
She was still a witch nonetheless. And she learned that witches like her were bound by various limitations, unlike humans. The greatest of those restrictions was the anti-magic toxin possessed by humans.
So, in other words, we mustn't enter a human's field of vision. Correct. You can think of it as though human eyes radiate the toxin. If they see you, it is the same as your body being burnt. And though the effect is weaker, being heard or sensed can also result in contact with the toxin. So, Even just getting close to humans is dangerous to us. Wasn't Father a human? Why am I not burnt by Father's toxin? If we stock up magical power and have it acknowledged by humans, that toxin can be reduced drastically. In other words, by having our existence acknowledged by humans, we make them lose their toxin, making it possible for us to appear before them once more. I see. As simply put, as we are now, we can only exist when humans aren't around. We are still very lacking in magical power, which makes us inferior to even a stray cat hiding from humans in the shadows.
The main goal of the older sister was to gain a large supply of magical power and be revived as a great witch, strong enough to have no fear of the anti-magic toxin. For that purpose, she had wandered around the mansion night after night, striving to regain her magical power and reduce the anti-magic power of the humans. The powerful previous Beatrice, whom she had read about in Featherine's library, had appeared openly in front of humans and had even toyed with them at will. According to her big sister, such a level of power was most impressive.
To think that a witch could appear openly before humans and use magic at will! A witch like that would be so great that even I can hardly imagine it. Is that what we will eventually become? Yes. She was like a witch from a picture book, appearing openly before the humans of the mansion and summoning magic and underlings at will. How inspiring. If that is our future, it means that all of our hard work will have been worth the effort. That's right. Anyway, One-sama, how is it that goal connected to going around unlocking windows like this?
It was the middle of the night. They were following behind servants, who were checking the locks on the doors and windows, and undoing those locks after the servants thought they had been set. It felt more like a child's prank than the work of a witch.
This is the path that leads to becoming a great witch. All journeys begin with a single step. To those who cannot understand, that first step may look quite foolish from time to time. However, it is still a monumentous first step.
With pride, as though making the first step for mankind on the surface of the moon, the older sister undid the lock on a window with a click.
Do you not understand, little sister? Can you not see why a little thing like this is so momentous? Huh? No, Ne-sama. I don't really understand.
The older sister closed her eyes lightly, smiled, and opened the unlocked window a crack. Cool outside air flowed in, making the curtains flutter.
Let us put it in the toxin-filled words of a human. We are not supposed to exist on this island. I shall go further. Right now, there is no one in this corridor. And yet the lock has been undone, and the window has opened. Can you see how great a miracle, a work of magic, a proof of our existence that is? Even you should understand the coolness of this breeze. I do understand. It's nice and cool. The coolness, the softness of the breeze, and the feel of the fluttering curtain through your hair. Touching your hair. All of these things show that we truly are here. So, by unlocking the window like this, we can leave behind proof that we really did exist. And that is why I unlocked it.
Of course, it wasn't just small pranks like opening a window. She could also smash windows and vases or leave behind strange fires and mysterious scribbles. Fires?
Fires.
In fact, one time, she actually did play a large-scale prank in the kitchen piling up kitchenware in an eerie manner and leaving behind a bizarre scribble, which scared the servants considerably. I like to think by the servants, it was just Kumasawa. It was a complete success. She'd really managed to scare the servants and had succeeded in making them acknowledge the existence of magic, weakening the anti-magic toxin. However, she usually chose to make her presence known by unlocking windows. The act of unlocking symbolized her release from the limitations imposed by the human's toxin.
One day, we will become a single witch and rule over all of Rokkenjima. When that time comes, we will gain complete freedom and will be capable of stretching our wings as we please. We won't have to be afraid of anyone's gaze anymore. We'll be able to fly wherever we wish, disappear whenever we want, laugh however we like, prank however we like, talk with anyone we want to. Humans might ask things of us from time to time. They might fight with us or play with us too. What wonderful things for us frail creatures, who cannot appear before anyone, to look forward to. Right now, they are little more than pranks. However, as they pile up, proof that we exist will begin to gather. The servants already call me the witch Beatrice, master of the night, and are beginning to believe in me bit by bit. The more they believe, the more those humans will lose their anti-magic toxin. I see. So this means that Father has no anti-magic toxin, and that's because he truly believes in the existence of the witch I am, without any doubts. I finally realized that, though I thought him to be cold, Father does possess a kindness that can't be seen. I'd like to become a great witch and appear in front of everyone soon. Indeed. Eventually, we will be able to appear openly in front of anyone. By doing that repeatedly, we shall make people believe in us even more, and eventually we shall display even our magic for all to see. At that time, we shall descend upon Rokkenjima as the great witch you told me of. Ha 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 ha! Hello.
Hello.
The logic of the witch side is quite interesting. It keeps me entertained.
It does sound credible, in a way. When humans are frightened to hear that they've entered a ghost hotspot, they're likely to start yelling, "Ghost, ghost!" at the drop of a hat.
That's right. At a fundamental level, all phenomena are neutral, indifferent, and dull. If you want them to be viewed in a certain way, you must first create a suitable environment.
If a person has charisma, people will interpret what they do in a positive way, even when they screw up. I see. I guess in that sense, the Beato's small efforts aren't misguided.
If it was just the mansion's locks being undone, everything could be resolved by saying that someone forgot to lock up or that it was some kind of prank. However, the rumors of a witch wandering about the mansion night after night slowly began to take shape as the existence of the witch.
An environment was established so that if anything strange happened in the mansion at night, it would all be viewed as the work of the witch. I get it. If you follow that reasoning to an extreme, then what you get is no different from a witch existing in the mansion at night.
After the Beatos finished their mischief of unlocking and opening the window, referring to them as the Beatos.
The Beatos, that's
to
what
me.
got me.
They enjoyed the coolness of the wind and the brightness of the moon, then became gold butterflies and disappeared into the darkness. It's like a It's like the Golden Girls.
It made me think of someone just misspelling the Beatles.
There was no way of knowing whether the window they had opened had actually been opened by them. The servants might have forgotten to lock up, or one of the family might have opened it after the servants had locked up and forgotten to shut it again. Or maybe someone had played a prank. In the same way, that none of those possibilities could be denied, it was also impossible to deny the possibility that a witch really had opened a window to enjoy the night breeze.
Oh.
A result without an observer can possess an endless number of ways in which it might have occurred. Humans who can't grasp anything more than a single possibility are unable to imagine anything.
However, people who believe in the possibility of a witch can imagine that it was a witch's prank. When that happens, the scene of the Beatrice's prank that we have just seen is etched into the fragment as a fact.
That's one of the foundations of magic. Embellishing the process. With just a little magic, even a mass-produced stuffed animal can be reborn as a wonderful, unique stuffed animal filled with a mother's love. If you doubt it, it'll be burnt by the anti-magic toxin. If you believe it, that magic will become the truth. Not all magic is bad. Maria One-chan was right. Good magic exists too.
It may be necessary for a child of man to possess the power to repel evil magic. However, refusing to burn away and defile love-filled magic is part of how love in the human world works.
Well, good magic is the only kind I can forgive. For all other kinds, the best remedy is to deny them and burn them away.
A typical answer for a child of man.
Getting back to the point. Knowing this much, I guess this means that the ghost Beatrice, who was called the ruler of Rokkenjima's night, doesn't really exist. It's nothing more than a general term for any inexplicable occurrences that take place in the mansion after dark. In other words, Beatrice isn't the name of a person, it's the name of a phenomenon. If anything bizarre happens, it all becomes the work of the Golden Witch. That environment in which a witch could exist is what Beatrice is.
The rules.
That keeps building on itself until we reach 1986. This is the veil that the true culprit is hiding behind. And the person hiding behind it is, without a doubt, a human.
Perhaps that holds true at this point in the witch's tale of the past. However, I doubt you can use that argument alone to fight all the way through 1986. Don't you? Bye. And we're back.
Poor Shannon. Shannon's getting grilled by Erika right now.
Ridiculous. Wasn't that obviously because someone forgot to lock up? Well, you may say that, but this isn't just something that happened once or twice. In other words, you're a klutz, a fool, and a moron of a servant who forgot to check not just once or twice, but many times over. Shannon isn't the only one. The same window was always opened even when other servants did the rounds.
Yeah, Mom even asked me if I'd ever left a window open in the hall at night. I had absolutely nothing to do with it, but she still got pissed. Sheesh. I'm sure Beatrice wanted to gaze at the moon. Oh.
Wrong, stupid. She wanted to feel the cold breeze.
Dang. It is a bit creepy to have that happen over and over at the same window. And that time when the kitchenware was piled up in the kitchen with a creepy magic circle scribbled there sounds even more freaky.
Yes, they said it was an eerie magic circle drawn with something like blood.
Steak sauce.
Ever since then, people have been scared to patrol the kitchen. About the case of the eerie magic circle in the kitchen, who witnessed that?
Uh-oh.
Well, it wasn't me.
Just don't tell her it was Kumasawa.
I think I heard about it from a servant kid who quit. I wasn't on duty that day. So it's basically like this. Just like those exaggerated stories you hear about haunted locations all over the world, you servants like to have a little fun telling ghost stories about the nighttime mansion, right? You talk as though the witch exists and infect others with that belief.
So, all of the eerie things that are supposedly done by Beatrice are baseless rumors, which are either the result of a coincidence and accident or something that something that someone fabricated for fun.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Exactly. Of course, there's no way Beatrice exists.
Oh. Beatrice exists?
I'm glad you understand so well, Badler-san.
Dang.
There's probably some person by that name, or else multiple persons of a fixed or unfixed number who do things and attribute it to that name. However, this delusion of a golden witch Beatrice that we're all thinking of is completely impossible.
Oh! Oh! Beatrice exists! I've met her!
Uh-oh. Oh, could you tell me about that in detail? You met Beatrice? And did she show you magic or something?
Oh! I see her all the time! Every time I come to Rokkenjima! And she always shows me fun magic!
Denying the existence of the witch would always have the immediate effect of infuriating Maria. However, Erika, who didn't know this trick to avoiding Maria's fury, plunged into it head on. I don't think she cares, game. I don't.
Yeah.
Not only is she a intellectual, she's a child, but no matter how Maria tried to sell the idea of Beatrice's existence, she stood no chance of defeating the ruthlessly intelligent Erika in an argument. George and Jessica hurriedly tried to calm Maria down, but there could be no quelling her anger at this point.
Is it worth it? You know she's gonna keep going, yeah. Good, though. So, she showed you magic? Could you explain in detail what kind of magic?
She would always use magic to give me candy as a present! Beato can create candy with magic!
She just took it out of her pocket, didn't she?
No, she didn't! It was magic! It was incredible! Tons of candies poured out of an empty cup!
Oh, wow. That's some awesome magic.
That's right, that really would be magic.
Yeah, it was magic! It really was empty! I checked inside it myself!
Huh? What do you mean you checked inside it?
Give it a rest, Erika-san. She's just a kid.
Come to think of it, Erika-sama, would you like some more tea? Yeah.
Oh, that's new.
Yeah. No, thank you. I'm having a seriously intellectual discussion over here. You outsiders can stay out of this. You'll have to tell me in more detail, Maria-san. What do you mean when you say that you checked inside it? Fortunately, we have right here with us a teacup that's just been overturned and emptied.
Dang.
Oh, I see. Come on, be my guest and reenact what happened then, okay? Let's see it. If you would, let's see it.
After holding the cup of black tea, which she had just overturned and was still dripping, upside down over the table, Erika slammed it down hard and slid it over to Maria. Erika's eyes glowed repulsively, like those of a snake about to snap up a frog. Those eyes were ice cold and had a madness in them that made one want to avert their gaze. On the other hand, Maria was glaring furiously, her whole body shaking uncontrollably, in the greatest expression of anger that a human could manage. Dang! The look on her face was frightening, not at all what you'd expect from a 9-year-old girl. Well, she's...
Stop it.
Go ahead.
Both of you.
I was gonna say, she's made scarier faces than that game. You could put a scarier sprite face on her.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Beatrice took the empty cup, and then she did this. She put it upside down on the table.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm the one doing it. You know what I mean? I'm subsuming the sin. Okay. Yeah, and then what? Did she lift it up right away and candies flowed out? Incredible. That really would be magic, right? It would be.
Battler and the others tried to get between the two and calm them down, but it was no use. They violently pushed aside the others, and glaring at each other from so close that their foreheads banged together, they repeatedly slammed the upside-down cup on the table. The sound of their foreheads banging together and the cup being slapped down shattered the barrier between reality and illusion.
Oh.
Why? Oh.
Oh. Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
It is magic. It is magic. Vito used magic to make candies appear.
Say it in red, Maria.
True. Then why don't you reproduce it for us? Founder of Mariage Sorcière, Maria the Witch of Origins!
Oh, hi, Dylan.
Oh my gosh!
Nice.
Lady Erika, this opponent is not worth your time. This battle is not worth fighting.
We're going full hog on this one. Oh my gosh, another new face. Shut up, murder doll!
You're really gonna do her like that after everything she did for you last episode?
Okay, how do you claim that the overturned cup was filled with candies?
Close, Maria.
Just turning the cup over won't make candies come out, because you have to use magic. Beato can use magic because she's a witch.
Oh yes, magic. She used magic. How did she use magic? Did she swing a magic wand and tap the cup to make candies pour out? No, that can't be it, right?
Whoa!
Beato is a witch, so she uses magic. Magic happens when you say an incantation and cause a miracle. You can't use the magic that makes candy unless you say the incantation.
Oh sure, understood. Good though, very good though. Let's see this incantation, let's see this magic. Come on, what kind of incantation would a witch use? What kind?
Come, try and picture it. The inside of the cup is filled with candies. Try and picture such a wonder.
Oh, and then what?
Look, the inside of the cup is filled with candy.
Maria grasped the overturned cup so tightly that it nearly cracked, and slowly lifted it up.
Is there candy in it?
Then, from the inside, several cute candies poured out. Maria looked at Erika with a full smile, as if to say,
That showed you.
Good though. And this is what you'd like to call Beatrice's magic, is it? Diddle-o!
can't do anything herself. Can't. Dang!
Okay. I'm gonna try to replicate it there. Beat her to death!
I don't know if I've ever mentioned this to you, but the phrase, like, beat them to death is such a visceral phrase to me that it has always made me laugh.
Really?
Just because of how, like, brutally violent of a phrase it is. So anytime any joke involves, like, kill him with hammers, let's kill him with hammers, that one always gets me because it's something that's like, it's such a violent phrase unnecessarily that it just makes it funny to me in, like, a really morbid way.
True. Well, that's Umineko in its entirety, really. So morbid it wraps around and is kind of funny.
Just her off the cuff being like, beat her to death, Dillinor. Oh.
God.
As you wish.
I just was losing it at the gunshot sound effect after.
This battle is going to annihilate my throat.
Yeah.
I won't let anyone deny Beato's magic, because magic is magic.
Dang. Magic is impossible. You might be telling a lie about something that never happened.
Repetition demanded. Failure to respond will be a violation of Nox's 7th. I'll respond. This is the truth. This is a story of something that really happened.
This wouldn't have anything to do with a trick in the actual cup or table, making this just a sleight of hand, right? That would be against the rules, wouldn't it?
Hidden devices and tricks are in violation of Nox's 3rd. However, if and only if foreshadowing has been presented, these are permitted by Nox's 8th.
Nox's 3rd prohibits hidden doors and devices that have no clues pointing towards them. However, by presenting foreshadowing and clues that point towards the existence of said devices, Nox's 8th allows them to be used.
There were no tricks like that! It was just an ordinary table and an ordinary cup! So it was magic, not sleight of hand! Understood. By Nox's 9th, we acknowledge that Lady Maria witnessed magic.
That's right, with the 9th at least. Observers are always allowed to speak their personal opinions. Otherwise, mysteries where the culprit is seen dressed up as a woman and it's written, "I saw a woman," would all be disqualified. Sure, that's fine. Claim that you saw magic all you want. All truths are nothing more than claims. So I'll make a different claim and see straight through yours to the truth. That's the
She's getting too excited.
True. We're not even there yet. It's the detective's duty, and where we shine the most.
There's nothing to see through. This is magic.
Since it is magic, only witches can use it, right?
That's right. Only witches can use it.
So, if a human like me could use it too, that would mean it isn't magic, right?
Might I remind you of Tentative Witch?
You can't use it. Only Beato can use magic.
Good though. Then why don't I show you? I'll make candy appear from out of this empty cup.
If you think you can, just try. Impossible! Impossible! Useless! Useless! There's no way a human can do it.
Then please, please, please just relax and watch. Here we have an empty cup. Is that okay? It is, isn't it? Then we turn it over on the table like this.
Fine sound effect. Dillinor is not amused. I just feel like every moment Dillinor is in any of these, she's like, why did this have to be the person I was put in the employ of?
I really wish this little scene didn't have Gertrude come in and it was just like pan over to Dillinor, then switch back to Erika.
Yeah.
Anyway, let it be known that this fight has no purpose. Okay, can you say the incantation for creating candies? In fact, why don't we say it together? Come, try and picture it.
The inside of the cup is filled with candy. Try and picture such a wonder.
Stop! Maria-san, why did you close your eyes when you said the incantation? Why not witness the miracle of magic?
Humans are polluted by the anti-magic toxin. If a lonely human saw it, the miracle of magic would be wiped out of existence. That's why the rules say that lowly humans have to close their eyes when using magic.
I see. Okay, I understand the protocol for humans to follow when magic's being used. In other words, not once have you ever witnessed the moment that magic happened. Isn't that right? Look, it's done now. Please try and lift up the cup, okay? After all, I've used magic to make candies appear.
There's no way someone who makes fun of witches could use candy magic.
Then if it actually does work, it'd be pretty amazing, huh?
After glaring at Erika with the utmost of malice, Maria slowly stretched her hand towards the overturned cup. There was no way that Erika, someone who made fun of witches like this, could ever use magic. There was no way that there'd be candy there.
So, how's it look inside?
And there lay a single candy with a cute wrapper.
See? This is magic, right?
Erika smiled gently. A look of disbelieving shock rose to Maria's eyes, along with envy for this person who could use the same magic as Beato.
Erika, you can use magic too?
See? It's magic, isn't it? What I did there?
Yeah!
So, in other words,
Erika smiled pleasantly. We already know what's about to happen. You don't gotta keep rubbing it in. She and Maria had finally reached a deep understanding.
of course it isn't! While you had your eyes closed, I just lifted the cup up and tossed a candy in.
Curious that you couldn't say that in red.
You call that magic? It's just a third-rate trick! Here's my blue truth as the detective. Now, as the Witch of Truth, here's my red truth! Your so-called candy magic is nothing more than a sleight of hand. Just a sleight of hand that the fake witch calling herself Beatrice or whatever claimed was magic. I mean, seriously, did you really get fooled by such a stupid parlor trick? Any magic related by your perspective can't be trusted at all. Everything you ever thought was magic was just a trick that you didn't get. There's no way that was magic. There's no way magic exists. What happened? Huh? Oh, excellent.
Now it's your
this is gonna
turn.
kill my voice.
Yeah, now it's...
I gotta remember his voice. It's been several episodes now. It might have been sleight of hand when you put candy in this cup, but that doesn't prove that Beato's magic was also sleight of hand. However, you also can't prove that only magic could have done it. You rotten stuffed animal! Now what? Oh.
Someone's angry.
Please allow me to speak.
Know that this is a meaningless battle.
You goddamn scraps of paper! Why do you have to butt in at the good part?
That is enough. Lady Maria has been shown that the candy cup magic could possibly be a trick that she misunderstood to be magic. Therefore, her claim that it was magic is dismissed.
However, it might really have been magic when Maria saw it. Just because it can be done by sleight of hand doesn't disprove magic.
Well done, Lady Erika. Congratulations on crushing Lady Maria's illusion of the witch.
An illusion of the witch occurs when someone tries to force the acknowledgement of magic by claiming that a thing would be impossible without it. It's how witches launch an attack. If someone's able to successfully argue back and show that it would be possible without magic, the illusion of the witch is defeated, and the witch must retreat. The magic Maria claimed to have seen could have been a trick, so it was unqualified to be acknowledged as magic. However, that was only the result of this battle. It was still too early to bring the fight into the domain of denying Beatrice, the witch, and the magic that Maria believed in. However, battles always end instantly when your opponent surrenders.
This whole sequence of events is where the meme in the community came from of trying to prove Santa isn't real to a kid.
Dang.
Yeah.
Erika had wanted to hit Maria with everything at once, defiling the witch and magic she believed in, and crushing it without a fragment of compassion.
Just one more step, and I'd have been able to take a heart as innocent as the smooth sand just after a wave is pulled back, and tear it to bits. What a shame. This isn't any fun anymore. Are you satisfied now? Ouch! Ow!
Erika grumpily punched Eleanor's arm that had been restraining her.
What a great use of what is normally the steak sound effect.
Mm-hmm. However, that cold, hard, marble-like arm just made Erika's hand hurt. I loved Eleanor so much.
Yeah. Diplomatic immunity. This battle is over. Allow me to speak. Diplomatic immunity accepted.
Know that this fight is childish.
Did you say something?
She did not. Let us withdraw. Lady Maria is no enemy of yours, Lady Erika. There is no need to pay any attention to small fry such as this.
You're right. How childish of me, tearing a kid's dreams apart. I'm really sorry, okay? I apologize for my momentary lack of elegance. Let's go.
Erika and the others turned their backs on Maria, who was still crouching down limply. However, as detectives in famous mysteries have always done in the past, Erika clapped her hands, stopped, and turned around. Just one more thing.
True.
Columbo moment.
That's right. What do you think?
Huh?
Simply by the existence of the overturned cup, this level of reasoning was possible for Fernando Erika. What do you think, everyone?
Erika's merciless words gouged themselves into Maria's heart once more. That's really funny if you apply it to Columbo.
True. But it's so real, though.
That makes Columbo's just one more thing like his denial attack.
But it is. If you watch the show, he says that right before he corners somebody.
Yep.
Just one more thing.
It's Columbo's just one more thing is his setup for his blue and red truths.
Where did I see that? I think I saw somewhere somebody wanted to do a Columbo versus Light from Death Note to see if he would catch him before he got him.
I know what you're talking about. I think I've watched that video.
That's.
I'm pretty sure Columbo did.
Just one more thing. I don't know what you would say for the Death Note. I've watched it, but I don't know what he would possibly just one more thing to get the answer. But anyway.
Erika left,
My button's not working.
leaving an evil laugh behind her. After bowing to Maria and Sakutaro, Dilanor left too. She's so polite. Gertrude and Cornelia followed suit. After that, only Maria and Sakutaro were left in the lonely Golden Land.
No.
How did that play out in the real world? How?
No idea.
Or I guess it's not really the real world, it's the game board.
Ryu. Beato is a witch. Ryu. Beato is a witch. It was magic. It was magic. It was magic. Beato used magic to give you candy. You don't need to doubt that. You. Please believe in Beato. You know that magic can't bear fruit unless you believe.
Surrounded by an ice-cold drizzle that had started falling at some point, Maria cried quietly. Trying to at least protect her from the rain, Sakutaro used his large sleeves to cover Maria's head and stayed there by her side.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go, Maria. Let's play cards together in the room upstairs.
Erika-san, as an adult, I can't say I was very impressed by that conversation just now. 1 second. My throat had to get cleared. My apologies. I'm still just a kid, after all.
After seeing that wonderful candy magic brutally insulted by Erika, Maria had been crying non-stop.
I imagine that must have happened in the real world just like it did in the Golden Land world, except without Dilanor and company.
Probably.
So it was just her being like, it was magic, and her being like, how was it magic? Let's see it. And then she did it, and she was like, ah.
I started noticing it as soon as the after-dinner quiz party. But your personality really is screwed up. Do you think this is fun? Do you like tearing a little kid's dreams apart?
Please stop, Battler-sama. Please, for my sake, don't push any further here. Please.
Shannon, who had been looking flustered, bowed her head deeply and implored Battler to stop. George, who didn't want Shannon pressured, fell in line.
Let's go. Let's spend this year in the cousin room again. We can watch TV and play cards.
I've heard that Erika-san has her own room. Shannon, please guide her there.
Oh, no need to bother yet. I'll relax down here for a little while longer. I want to savor it a bit.
What the hell are you trying to savor? Battler and the others could no longer hide their irritation. They had no obligation to entertain their uninvited guest any further than this. Erika herself understood perfectly well that no place would welcome a detective. Battler and the others wanted to leave, and Erika wanted to stay. Neither had any desire to stop the other. Jessica urged Maria, who was still crying, to come along. Then, Maria stopped and spun around.
Got a problem? They do exist here and there. Humans who are practically lumps of the toxin and don't believe in magic. There were lots of boys like you in my class. They don't believe in witches, or magic, or miracles, or happiness. You can't become a witch if you let the toxin of people like that burn you to ashes. I may not look it, but I'm Beatrice's disciple. I'm the apprentice witch of origins.
Maria, who had been crying quietly a second ago, seemed to have been transformed into an entirely different person.
Her dark passenger.
Shut up. I hate you. God dang it. She laughed. No, cackled eerily. Battler's group stiffened up at this sudden change, but Erika watched calmly. Then she smiled and gave a full nod in response.
Good though. You've got some guts. Good night, Miss Maria. Let's fight in a more challenging game next time.
Sure, let's. It's a promise.
You stop that too, Maria. Come on, let's go.
What about you, Shannon-chan? Come with us if you want to play cards.
Come on, join us for at least one round. It'll cheer you up.
Just for a bit.
Shannon couldn't remain in this suffocating lounge any longer either. In part apologetic and in part trying to escape, she followed after Battler's group. After that, Erika was the only one left in the lounge. Still wearing a thin smile, she tapped the glass with her finger. Knowing her, this was probably all part of her plan. For some reason, she wanted everyone to get out of the lounge. There was a light chink. A surprisingly boring sound. Even so, Erika wore a thin smile, as though pleased. Perfect timing, Kumasawa.
Yeah. A new victim. Oh, sorry to keep you waiting. I was just in the bath. Oh, where is everyone? You just missed them. They went up to the second floor. I'm the one who called you here. I've heard that you know a lot about the story of Rokkenjima and the tale of the Witch of the Forest. Oh, yes, well, it is a trivial story, but I don't mind in the slightest if it's trivial. Would you like a drink to follow your bath? Even I like to be helpful every now and then.
Erika stood up, opened the refrigerator behind the counter, and put ice into the pail. Dang. Kumasawa drinking tonight.
Mm-hmm.
With the rat.
True. Rat party.
Yeah.
All right. That was the source of magic. Now we're moving on to the lovers.
That could mean several people in this instance.
I think it's a reference to the tarot card.
Oh.
The lovers. I'm kidding. I just... Listen, you play Binding of Isaac so much where every pickup is voiced and they say the lovers. You kind of just, like, it gets stuck in your brain. The lovers. Erika-chan, huh? She's an odd kid. Somehow, I just can't seem to get along well with the young kids these days.
George, you're like 23.
He is! You're still pretty young yourself, George-san.
Thank you, Shannon. Thank you.
I guess it's because I've always been the oldest of the cousins. It's always made me feel like I'm not one of the young ones anymore. Oh, there's the love song.
Yep. George and Shannon could be seen standing in a rainy rose garden. They walked all the way out there to that dang arbor, and
Yes, you have to.
though the rain was still pouring down, There was hardly any wind at all. The scant protection provided by the arbor was more than enough to house this secret meeting between lovers. Following that fight with Erika, they had decided to play some cards for a change of pace. When that was over, Shannon had returned to the servant room, and shortly after that, George had left his room to meet with Shannon at the time they had arranged.
I think kids around Erika-san's age have a hard time getting along with themselves, more so than any other age. Yeah, that's true. Around that age, most kids are so determined to free themselves from the shell of childhood that they lash out in all directions with their beaks. When they do break out, they'll finally be free to stretch their wings and fly high.
Like a seagull.
I thought you were saying, Michael.
No!
Don't leave me here.
Michael.
I was like that too. My old self, still trapped inside that shell, was a weak, deplorable person who I couldn't really respect. That's not true. No, it's okay. I realize it myself. Back then, I might have been the oldest of the cousins, but I was still a lazy, hopeless person. And it wasn't just with the cousins. At home, at school, I was like that everywhere. George Lore. Glore. I hated being like that. I wanted to break that shell and become a splendid adult like mother and father.
Galore.
But in the end, you did break out of that shell, George-sama. Every time I've met you these past few years, you've grown beyond recognition. Thank you. Did something cause you to make up your mind? To break out of my shell? Yes. I can't imagine that you grew so rapidly, like a butterfly breaking out of its cocoon, by just wandering around aimlessly. I thought there must have been some turning point that made you become so determined. I fell in love with you and grew thanks to the power of love, is what I've told you so far. But the truth is, the turning point was a much more negative emotion. No way. It's hard to believe that someone who's always as bright and cheerful as you could have negative emotions. Well, my parents brought me up to treat women with care, and I thought that I'd managed to live my life that way. Yes, I think you're wonderful, a real gentleman. But I'm not, actually. I didn't know how to interact with the opposite sex. I deified them excessively, and though I always behaved in a gentlemanly, ladies first kind of way, I was probably outright afraid of interacting with girls.
Of course, George had wanted to be around girls as much as any healthy boy might. Thanks for putting it that way. However, he didn't know how to interact with them. He wanted to act like a gentleman, to avoid being disliked by them, treating them with care. Of those feelings, only the words, "treat women with care," took precedence, blossoming into a subconscious fear of women.
You might call a man like that gentlemanly, or a late bloomer. Ridiculous. I was just a coward. Because of that, I started to wonder why I couldn't get a girlfriend if I was so gentlemanly.
And I started browsing these forums online.
True. Shannon, do you know about 4chan?
Do you know about r/semen retention?
Dang! And I eventually came to the conclusion that all the women in the world had no taste, and started to hate all of them. Selfishly.
Okay,
so
now
it's real. It's real, by the way.
Yeah, it's getting a little too real.
That's what a truly pathetic man looks like. How many years ago was it when I noticed? Probably when I was in middle school. At the time, I assumed that I was obviously the most gentlemanly of the cousins, so I would obviously be popular with women. However, reality was very different. At school, I was pretty much completely hopeless. Far from being a leader, I was a typical bullied kid who got pushed around by everyone. At the time, I figured I was just a capable and adaptable man who could keep in perfect tune with his surroundings. How stupid. Sure, I might have gained some measure of trust from girls. However, not only was there no one who had become my girlfriend, there weren't even any girls I could call friends. Of course, I was a man who was always stepped back for the sake of ladies first. Who would ever want to follow behind such a negative, unmotivated man? It's funny. I didn't even realize this. I was convinced that I was an attractive guy.
It took us to episode 6
What?
to get this George lore.
Huh. Yeah.
We're like 150 hours in, bro.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, but did you care about George lore before now?
I'm not saying I care about it now.
True. I couldn't sort of understand how you felt. Just because someone puts in a lot of hard work to look attractive to the opposite sex, it doesn't necessarily work out as they plan.
Okay, give me 1 second. I dropped something.
He dropped something! Call the National Guard!
I got it.
Okay, you got it. Oh? Has that happened to you too, Shannon? Of course. One time, I wanted to catch a boy's eye so much, I tried to put on makeup even though I didn't know how and embarrassed myself. I remember a lot of embarrassing failures. The person that made me finally get over my conceit and open my eyes was you, Shannon.
Okay, George. So so it was Shannon. It was Shannon that made you. You lied earlier when you said that it wasn't Shannon. You lied.
No, it was both of you.
Huh?
He's got to say, like, what was her name again?
Sayo?
Her real name? Yeah. What was the turning point for you, George-san? Or at least I'm assuming that's what he was going to say. Unless he's, like, really four-eyed.
He's just thought he's had 2 girlfriends this entire time.
Yeah. Envy, probably. That's unexpected. But envy over what? Oh, they being out the world end. Oh! I saw you and Balakun having a really good time talking. That made me envious. Me and Balor-sama?
Shannon raced through her memories, trying to find a conversation that might have made George envious.
It probably seemed trivial to you two.
Balor's blushing too. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Shannon's the dang.
Riz Lord?
Yeah, she's the Ushinomiya family catch. Apparently, all the boys want her.
I mean, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yes.
I can't remember if I already read there. However, it still made me envious. I don't want Battler to hear what I say next, no matter what.
Here you say what? No, I'm kidding.
Can you promise me? Of course.
Wait.
What?
Battler wrote this situation.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just really funny. That's ironically funny.
It's going to be a shameful confession. Whoa. Still, I want you to hear it. I want to hear your answer tonight. Only after I've told you about my bad sides as well. I was about to sneeze.
Oh.
Okay, I think I've quashed it. I don't know if that's healthy. Anyway. Okay. Let me hear it.
With a smile, but a serious look in her eyes, Shannon nodded. Tonight. She knew what he was going to ask her tonight. George had the right to confess before asking that sacred question, and Shannon had the obligation to listen.
Is this like the detective's authority?
Mm-hmm. Shannon understood this, so she listened quietly.
Oh.
OMG Anja, hi. Sorry. I'm just thinking back to him being like, I don't want Battler to hear this. And not only is Battler gonna hear it, Anja's gonna hear it, all the witches are gonna hear it, like...
Yeah.
It's just really funny to me being like, I don't want anyone else to know about this when you have like a dozen people spectating you.
So, this is what a witch of theater going peeps in on during her spare time?
Stories of love are precious in any age. I never tire of them. However, I do find that expression of virgin disgust on your face even more amusing.
Dang. And she does have an expression of disgust. Featherine laughed quietly. Anja huffed and looked away. But she quickly realized that this would only entertain Featherine even more, so she tried to act unconcerned. I love her so much.
I like their dynamic. Both Battler-kun and Jessica-chan have always been spirited. No, treating it that way is just dodging the issue. Let me be frank.
Yeah, I was about to say. Turns into Danny DeVito.
Ushiromi Frank.
Oh my god, I can see it. Frank Reynolds, but in the Umineko art style.
Yeah.
George looked up at what... God, can you imagine? Umineko, but it's the Reynolds family.
Oh, I would pay. Oh my gosh, what I would
What do
pay
you mean
for
you
that.
didn't see the witch D, you blind bitch?
Oh, and
Come
then
on,
you got
guys, there's no
Charlie
way
who
a witch
happens
could
to
be real.
find the gold.
D is the person who's like, come on, guys, there's no way a witch could be real. And the rest of them are all like, the witch is obviously real.
Mm-hmm. I'm saying Charlie would definitely find the gold. I don't know what Mac would do. I'd have to figure out. He would be doing something silly.
I feel like Mac would be the first Twilight somehow.
You think so? I think he would be in like several Twilights because he just wouldn't completely die each time.
Yeah. It'd just be him progressively getting like a body cast as the night went on.
Yeah,
And
that would be
Charlie
good.
would find the gold, and obviously, if you're going by the human theory, then
Oh my
Dennis would be
gosh.
the killer.
Dennis would be there because of Rosa. It makes perfect sense now.
I like the idea of like how I've mentioned before of us being there as like add-ons, just the Reynolds family also being there with all the Ushiromias.
The crossover we didn't know we needed.
Oh man, they'd fit right in. They're just as dysfunctional as of a family.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Battler would love Charlie.
Yeah, he's just like me, for real.
Anyways, George looked up at where the moon should be, high above the rain clouds, and spoke. They were honest words, spoken simply from George's heart.
For a long time back then, I thought of Battler-kun and Jessica-chan as bad-mannered kids. No, let me be even more blunt. I thought that even the way they talked was vulgar. It's true. I don't mind if you hold me in contempt for that. I don't. People are allowed to think anything they want inside their hearts. In fact, I think you're all the more commendable for not letting it show on the outside. Thanks. I secretly looked down on those two. I was so conceited that I truly thought I was just overflowing with gentlemanly charm compared to them.
Well, I would hope you were compared to Jessica.
I was at that age where having a girlfriend felt like a necessary condition for becoming a real man. I truly believed that no girl could fail to admire a gentleman who treated girls as well as I did. So, I really did assume that the girls I knew were attracted to me. I thought that Naku and Jessica-chan, who always joked around and spoke in a rude, vulgar fashion, would never be able to get a boyfriend or girlfriend. I might have used that argument to distract myself when I still couldn't get one myself. I was a fool. They weren't inferior to me at all. I was the inferior one, with my deification of the opposite sex and my fear, which I hid under the guise of ladies first. That's been Battler's and Jessica's personality from the beginning. True, they were rude, and one couldn't have called them gentlemanly or ladylike. However, they did have the power to interact without worrying about gender. In fact, you might even call that their charm.
Okay, I really don't want you to be talking about my brother's charm to me right now. I sort of understand. People like Oni-chan and Jessica One-chan can get along with anyone, whether that person's a boy or a girl.
Or furniture.
Or furniture. I hate to bring it up because of George Oni-chan, but I find people who act too overtly like a gentleman a bit creepy. It's like they're virgins trying too hard, or whatever.
You say that yourself, ma'am.
I was gonna say that
When
insult
you-
really stuck with her.
Yeah.
When dealing with strangers, people prefer for them to be harmless and boring. However, they only appreciate these qualities because such a person doesn't get in the way. No human would want to hang around with a boring person all the time.
Gonna be real for just a moment. That's one of the few things about, like, I guess you could say 2010s to now. I don't know. It might have been present even before that. I haven't watched enough to know, but like Japanese media culture that I've never enjoyed is their obsession over the idea of being a virgin being a bad thing. Because that's a common thing that shows up in like anime and manga over and over again.
I think it goes further than just Japanese culture.
True.
It's just, it's very funny, because for a long time, obviously, that was the virtuous thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, when would it probably be? Probably around the 90s, 80s. If you, at worst, it would
sexual
probably
revolution.
be the 50s.
I would say
Yeah.
70s probably, because that's when the sexual revolution was in big swing.
Ever since then, if you reach age 20 and you're still a virgin, it's, pretty not good. And I think it's one thing to say it societally, but I think in media it's reflected that just as much, because obviously media is supposed to be a sort of a mirror to society in many ways. Whether it's a funhouse mirror or an actual mirror, it's still a mirror. So you are going to be hard pressed to find something that extols it as a virtue, or
I don't necessarily
best
think
you'll
it should
find
be
they still
extolled as a
talk about
virtue. I just don't think it should be. I think neither side should be lauded nor put down for neither side of the experience necessarily.
indubitably.
But now you're going to
But
find
like I
out with
said,
anything.
Yep.
It's
like
just
I
something
said,
that comes up more frequently in anime, especially anime that have to do with, like, you know, there's usually a relationship of some kind involved or something, and the male is typically like something like Nagatoro. You see it in Nagatoro with the main character. He gets that insult thrown at him every once in a while and stuff like that. So I guess I am probably a little bit biased because I consume probably more Japanese media than Western media, honestly. So, yeah.
I don't watch very much Western media that has to do with that age or that subject matter. But I know for a fact in high school, at least, and definitely in college, you were mocked openly if you were a virgin.
Yeah.
If that came out, if that was an information. Which meant that, in turn, in media that replicated high schools and colleges, they would do the same thing to try and seem realistic.
Yep.
So, thanks, society. You've ostracized people yet again.
Mm-hmm.
Not me, though. It couldn't be me. You know what I did when I was 21, man? Me neither. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm not a pervert, but... I'm kidding.
What was it? You saying that made me think of a meme I saw the other day where it was... So what did the guy say? It was something along the lines of, if I was XYZ, I simply wouldn't be a pervert. And then his handle was toe sucker.
That's crazy.
And someone replied, thanks, toe sucker. And then he went, I forgot.
I forgot is crazy.
Anyways.
Yeah, thanks, Featherine.
Yeah.
Of course. No idiot would want to be friends with an unmoving, unspeaking telephone pole.
You take that back!
However, unmoving and unspeaking is exactly what you'd want from a telephone pole.
That's it. It seems as though George finally discovered that he wouldn't be viewed as an attractive man, no matter how superior he was. And that he had been treated like a telephone pole the whole time.
That's it?
Yeah. Back then, my conceit was at its peak. So when everyone gathered at the family conference, I believed that I was the most attractive, and that all the servant girls who played with us loved having me there. On that day, I finally realized how pathetic I was.
Battler talks to Shannon once. Boom. Life ruined. Yeah. Erika moment. Erika.
Yeah. Did I say something inconsiderate then? No, it's the opposite. You didn't say anything at all. My conceited delusion that I was the only one ever reflected in your eyes was crushed.
Yeah.
Okay. Just when did it start? No, it must have started long before then. I only failed to notice because my eyes were clouded with conceit. They have a thing for that now. One day, I suddenly realized it.
They can shoot lasers in your eyes and get rid of that.
All of you were getting along with Battler-kun and Jessica-chan far better than with me. Playing around and having a good time. Yeah, okay. Yes. Those two whom I had looked down upon so much were radiating far more charm than I was. You really looked like you were enjoying yourself that day. The look on your face was far brighter than any you ever showed me. Sickening, isn't it? I just assumed that you liked me, and even had some childish fantasy that we might end up dating. I one-sidedly felt as though my girlfriend had been stolen from me, and let myself feel hurt. I was such a pathetic man. That's when I finally realized how foolish I'd been. George-sama. After that, stuff happened, and Battler-kun stopped coming to the family conferences, but I heard about him from time to time from Uncle Rudolph. He's a pretty funny guy. Even though he got in fights with Battler-kun all the time, he always paid close attention to what his son was up to.
Aww.
That's true. He spoke to me about it as well.
Aww.
I think even Asumu-sama was exasperated by it. She thought all his popularity with the girls at school and the unceasing trouble this caused must have been because of Rudolph-sama's blood.
Dang.
And Jessica-chan too. I hear she built up a huge number of friends, both boys and girls, and that she was always right in the middle of things. Now think of it, you could say.
No,
with her myself.
no.
I could see that this was no exaggeration. This proved that the two I'd looked down upon were much more attractive human beings than I was. At first I tried to imitate those two. Ew! Sorry. I'm just trying to imagine George showing up and acting like them.
Yeah.
Can I squeeze them?
Oh.
See?
No.
It was pretty ridiculous. I thought that by joking around and speaking rudely, I could get that same charm they had. Did that? It's a bit hard to picture. It was miserable. I wish I could forget that time for the rest of my life. In any event, I quickly realized that I could never become truly attractive by imitating them like that. What? The reason I had no charm was because of my cowardice. Under the pretense of respecting people and acting to fit in with the general atmosphere, I was always running away. I resolved myself to overcome that flaw and be reborn. I finally understood the shell I was in, and I swore to break out of it. Every time my determination began to waver, I'd remember that day. That day I saw you two forget about me entirely and play around happily. And the fact that those eyes of yours, which I always assumed were attracted to me, never noticed me at all. I made an oath. This time, I wanted to be the one who caught your attention for real. The one reflected in your eyes. That's actually the first thing I felt when I fell in love with you. Sounds like it was pretty complicated for you. On that day, my desire for revenge against the two of you who had ignored me and played together. No, against you alone.
George is always saying goofy shit.
What? Who? What?
George is always saying goofy shit when it comes to love.
Yeah.
Not in like a not true way, but in just like a yeah, you're icky. Like
It's true. Suddenly, transformed into true love.
my desire for revenge against you.
What was the
True
thing that he
love.
said? What was the thing from the ending? Oh, desire.
Yeah.
However, I swear this to God. Even though that was the reason I first started to take you seriously, there are no lies in the way I feel about you now. I swear to love you for all my life. I will not lie about that for anyone or anything. And I'm prepared to take you as my wife, even if it means having the entire world as my enemy. George, son. That's the confession I wanted to make to you beforehand. Before now, I've called you my first love, love at first sight. That was a lie. It was only my selfish, twisted... It doesn't matter.
Shannon smiled, but she spoke forcefully enough to cut through George's words.
Is there some rule saying that people can't get together just because they weren't each other's first love? Is it betrayal to forget the first person you fell in love with? Love. Isn't that simple? Well, it might be simple. After all, love is easy. At all times, whatever you feel now, only the honest feelings you feel now can tell you the right answer. So, things of the past or how our relationship started aren't important at all. Then, confessing to all that was wrong with me? No. I'm a bit glad to learn that even George's son, who's always perfect at everything, has a human side to him. And I'm kind of glad that I'm the only person you've told this to. Thank you. I was only able to become who I am because of you. Me too. I am as I am because of you, George-san. So please, tell me without holding back. What kind of husband and wife will we be? And what kind of future will we build together? I don't know. When I have you as my wife, I'll become an even more accomplished businessman than my father. And after several challenges and adventures, I hope to find the limits of my potential. I want to reach that peak together with you. The view from there will be something no one can show you but me. Sounds fun. I'll be with you wherever you go. Oh? Of course, it won't only be an adventure as a businessman. I'd like to create many things that only a couple can make.
Why's he gotta say it that way?
Because he's weird.
Because he is weird.
And what could that be?
And
apparently
Shannon lets him
weird.
hit because he's goofy.
Yeah, true. Let's have some kids. Yes, my husband. This is really weird, me saying it to me. I think it's worse than you saying it to me, but anyway. I'd like 3 of them at least.
I got soda in my nose. You made me laugh really hard. Oh, it burns.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta get that soda out of there. At least 1 boy and 1 girl. And what if all 3 are boys? And the next one might be a girl.
Dang.
We can have a 4th one. It doesn't matter how many. Let's enjoy the adventure of bringing them up together. And when those children eventually leave their nest, they'll make us some grandchildren. Before we know it, we'll reach a boisterous old age surrounded by a whole crowd of kids and grandchildren. It sounds like fun. I wonder what kind of a grandpa you'll be. And I wonder what kind of a grandma you'll be. However, I will always keep loving you. And when we eventually pass away, surrounded by our vast family, our lives will stretch behind us, unmatched by anyone else's.
George didn't just talk about his love of the present. He swore to love her soul until the final moment when the lid of their coffins would be shut.
Okay.
Then, George took a small box out of his pocket. He's got a coffin! Even without opening it, she knew what was inside. He took it out with a motion that was even more natural than the one he'd practiced in the airport bathroom. And it was overflowing with masculine charm. I keep forgetting that happened. And then Rudolph came out.
Saya. Yes. Let's get married. Yes. Please, take this ring and put it on your finger. Yes, George-san.
It's been a while. Oh, and it's gone just as fast.
Yeah.
That ring, which glistened divinely even in the dim light of the arbor, passed from George's hand to Shannon's finger. Of course, Shannon had already decided which finger to put it on.
She did. I swear to resolutely stand against any fate that may attempt to stand in the way of our future.
George proclaimed that he would reveal their engagement to the entire family on the next day. I know what the first Twilight's gonna be. Ava's gonna kill George.
True. My parents might criticize this marriage. However, I will not let them stop us. I'm going to inform them of our engagement, not ask for their permission. If Mother says that she won't allow our marriage, I plan to have myself disinherited, and we'll leave this family together.
Well, she's not gonna disinherit you, so...
I have been prepared for that since long ago. I swear once again to resolutely stand against all fates that get in the way of our future.
George had said it aloud. So, Shannon said the same thing.
Me too. I swear to stand against all fates that get in the way of our future, George's son. My eyes. Oh! Oh, yeah, remember you were talking about the observers?
Yep.
Battler son, when will the crime start?
For some reason, I thought she was gonna be like, when are you gonna talk to me like that? And I was gonna be like, foreshadowing? For reverse
Subtle
foreshadowing?
foreshadowing?
Yeah, reverse foreshadowing. It happens after the flash forward. What would you even call that? What would you...
No idea. I've just about had it with this love show.
Be quiet and watch.
Sure, fine. I'd hate to yawn and let some spectacular bit of foreshadowing slip by.
Hey, we were just talking about that. Do you have no love?
Are there any mystery novels that accept love as proof? No, there aren't.
Erika laughed coldly and stared down at the 2 on the game board. Battler watched her quietly. Erika thought she felt a touch of pity in his gaze, and she averted her eyes uncomfortably. Ooh.
I do understand, more or less. Love can at least become a motive for murder. I can interpret this scene beneath the arbor to represent a possible motive for the crime if their engagement is somehow impeded. And then again, no matter how much people talk of love with words that aren't read, it's all just an illusion.
That's sad. So, you could never love a human without proof given to you by a witch.
Please put an end to this frivolous love talk. I'm your enemy, not a friend to whom you can talk about love just for the hell of it. I can't understand you at all right now. What on earth did you figure out? Weren't you and Beato always insulting and trying to kill each other?
We're just back at episode 2. But she's Battler and now he's Beatrice.
And we are on Beatrice's side. Do you notice that?
Yes.
What kind of truth could you have reached to make you change your emotions regarding her? Please don't tell me that feelings of true love have sprouted from your murderous rivalry or anything like that, okay?
Lady Erika, let us have him continue the game's progression. Boring love scenes such as this are best finished quickly.
Oh, you've got a point there. Sorry for butting in. Come on, let's move on. Yeah.
Dillonor trying everything in her power to get the game over as soon as possible so she can go home.
Yeah.
Please, Battler, please.
It's Shannon. I've come back.
Indeed. The log for today has not yet been filled out.
Yes. I'll do that right away. Kanon-kun, thanks for keeping an eye out while I was gone. That was a pretty long break.
He wants his turn. Kanon had already noticed. There was a silvery glint coming from the ring finger on Shannon's left hand. Then I will retire. Please do not hesitate to wake me if anything occurs.
Good night, Genji-sama.
Happens to you more than anything
Yeah,
else
it
with
happens a
these
lot,
two.
yeah.
Genji disappeared off to the waiting room. After that, only Shannon and Kanon remained.
Kanon.
I won't.
Thanks for giving me some time. I'll stay here for the rest, so you can go to sleep now.
He ain't going to sleep, Shannon.
Wow, he really was waiting for his turn. So, it's my turn next.
You can't convince a boy that he can find love and then expect him 6 hours later to not go find it.
They've entered into their mindscapes, their
Yeah.
shared mindscape.
Twin telepathy, even though they're not actually twins.
Yeah. Sorry, but we aren't going to lose.
And I won't lose either. I forgot that they were competing.
Yeah, no, they really don't need to be.
They are, apparently,
I
though.
will repeat what I said when this episode first started. I don't know why this is a competition between you guys at all. I feel like you both could get what you want and be very happy.
Oh, dang, Shannon's making digs. And angry faced Shannon, by the way.
Even though you've always been a coward and let Milady take the lead until now?
You saying angry face Shannon made me think of the cheese in Shannon.
Oh, you mean the she's?
The cheese. You can like post that on the community. I should have used that as the image for the sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Dang
yeah.
it. I didn't
Oops.
think about that. That's going to be our go-to from now on if we ever have scheduling issues. It's going to be the she's.
She's. Wasn't it you who taught me, Ne-san?
What did I teach you?
The past is immaterial when it comes to love. The present is all that matters. If that's true, then I think my present is in no way inferior to yours, Ne-san.
Shannon and Kanon glared at each other with serious eyes. That period of tension vanished when Shannon chuckled.
Yeah, that's good. You and Milady have to give it your all. If you do end up together, make sure you build up a relationship wonderful enough that the rest of us can cheer you on with all our hearts.
Well, you do have a huge lead on me.
There's no helping that. That's what you get for your cowardice before now.
I know. That is my sin.
Shannon and Kanon fished around in their pockets and drew out two small things that glittered gold. They looked like the left and right wings of a gold butterfly.
We are furniture. In order to become a human and receive the miracle that allows us to love, we must rely on a miracle of magic once again.
To think that her brooch would actually prove useful.
It's the only magic within our reach.
It was the golden butterfly brooch, which Beatrice had once given to Shannon in the hopes of creating love between her and George. Shannon then gave it to Kanon, but he let his emotions get a hold of him and crushed it to pieces. So, when the two wings they held were brought together, it would regain the form of a beautiful butterfly.
Then I'll be back soon. After all, they've asked me to play cards with them.
Yeah. Good luck.
Shannon enters room, plays cards with them, causes George to disappear for the night. Kanon enters room, plays cards with them, causes Jessica to disappear for the night.
How weird.
Battler, yeah. Battler, How strange.
I'm sure. Oh, wrong one.
I'm sure Milady will be happy.
It's a bit embarrassing.
Enjoy that feeling.
Kanon left the servant room. He went to go see Jessica and tell her what he had determined to do. Shannon quietly watched him go. The fragment of the brooch and the engagement ring let off a gold and silver glint. And silver.
Gold and silver.
Silver and gold.
That takes me back. That's something I gave Shannon, if I recall. I always wondered if they lost it after Kanon stepped on it, but it seems they still had it the whole time. That's the golden butterfly brooch, isn't it? I read about the magical brooch that can save a love relationship in Featherine's son's book.
That had been the first time that Beatrice, Witch of the Forest, had interacted with a human and given them her power. Bit by bit, she had transformed from a mere ghost to the ruler of the mansion at night, and by making the servants believe in her, she had wiped away the anti-magic power. And then, it eventually became possible for her to appear openly in front of Shannon, whose magic resistance had grown particularly low, and who had begun to believe in the existence of Beatrice. To Beato, who had been unable to interact with anyone for many years, this conversation with Shannon must have been especially fun.
That's why I generously gave her the butterfly brooch. I was in quite a good mood. It is no common thing for a heartless witch such as myself to be so gracious. But it's wonderful. You brought a pair of future lovers together. Of course, I did not do it to pamper them. It was in exchange for smashing that hateful spirit mirror that had repressed my magical powers. Thanks to that, I was able to regain much of my power all in one go.
Spirit?
Oh,
But then, one night, purple lightning smashed the shrine. Those of the surrounding islands called it an evil omen. Oh, now that I think of it, that must have been a prelude to Beatrice Summer's resurrection.
Careful what you say, Kumasawa. You're gonna get stuck here for who knows how long it takes to get intellectually raped.
yeah.
I...
Right now, in fact.
Kumasawa had the rest of the night off. Uh-oh! So she had let Erika talk her into drinking a bit, and was chatting about the legend of Akujikishima, and Beatrice in a happy, tipsy mood. Erika would nod from time to time, but besides this, she listened in complete silence. She wasn't actually taking notes, but she was gathering information on the whiteboard inside her head.
True.
Then, she frowned as though noticing something out of place and held up her hand.
Wait a second.
Yes?
That shrine was built by a traveling Shugenja monk to seal out the evil spirits of Akujikishima. Isn't that right?
Yes, that is correct. It was one who possessed a vast supernatural power, and who placed that power within the mirror.
And placed it within the shrine as a sacred mirror to seal the evil spirits. Something feels off about that. Why would a shrine to seal the evil spirits of Akujikishima also seal Beatrice?
Well, that's, because the sacred mirror has spiritual power.
I see. So, it's this really convenient sacred mirror that works on both evil spirits from the east and witches from the west. Got it. I'm still not satisfied, but I'll back off there for now. What I don't understand is why Beatrice can't spin spider webs.
According to the legend, the evil spirits of Akujikishima despise spider webs, so they were apparently used as wards against evil in the surrounding islands. In fact, spiders are a useful bug. They're not bugs, actually. There's nothing strange about the fact that island farmers had treasured them. It's very possible that they were tied to the story of evil spirits and became known as charms against evil. Yeah, do you know that about how they about how cranberry farms work?
No.
So to farm cranberries, you have to farm cranberries in bogs. And the way that farmers get all the cranberries in one go is they'll flood the bog. So all the cranberries rise up to the top of the water. But instead of using pesticides, farmers use wolf spiders to protect their cranberries. So when they flood the bogs, the wolf spiders all ride up on the layer of cranberries, and when you wade into the bog to like just put the cranberries in sacks basically, all of the spiders will go to the highest point that they can find, which is the human being.
Ew.
So, but because they're helpers, the farmers don't kill them. So like you'll just get swarmed by spiders who are looking for a dry place basically as a
That's
cranberry
terrifying.
farmer.
I hate that. I'm never farming cranberries.
Just them talking about how farmers like spiders made me think of that. Anyways, it is very possible that they were then tied to stories of evil spirits and became known as charms against evil, leading to a tradition of people treating this useful bug with care through the generations.
But that's just the legend of Akuchikishima. The origins for the legend of the witch Beatrice came after Ushiromiya Kinzo moved to this island, when rumors sprouted about the mysterious legend of the gold, as well as the witch mistress who gave it to him. In other words, the evil spirits of Akuchikishima and the golden witch Beatrice were originally completely different things, and yet the stories treat them like they're the same.
Well, now...
The evil spirits of Akujikishima couldn't stand spider webs. So, neither could Beatrice.
Oh.
That sort of reasoning has been applied all over the place. When it was pointed out that this was strange, Kumasawa was lost for an answer. Erika doesn't know about memetics, I see.
The doorknob to Kinzo-san's study has scorpion magic circle drawn on it. A scorpion magic circle drawn on it, which represents a charm against evil in Western society. That's why the Western witch Beatrice can't touch it. I can understand that part. But there's no reason for Beatrice to dislike spiderwebs. I don't remember spiderwebs ever being included among things witches can't stand. On the contrary, wouldn't spiders be the friends and minions of a witch?
Truing. Well...
In my opinion, those two legends about the evil spirits of Akujikishima and the witch Beatrice have been mixed together a little. In fact, maybe they've been fully fused together as one. The legend of Akujikishima is a fairy tale created by fishermen fearful of reefs in the Rokkenjima area. However, there was no visual image to go along with those evil spirits. Were they people, or monsters, or ghosts without legs? There's no mental picture of them. People are bad at imagining things without visuals. That's when the legend of the witch called Beatrice came in. A witch is a lot easier to picture than evil spirits. And on top of that, Kinzo-san had a portrait of Beatrice drawn and displayed. In other words, the lack of a visual image, which was the one weak point in the legend of Akujikishima, was finally completed. Since then, perhaps the two legends have been mixed together.
Waiting for Kumasawa to say, well... well, I wonder... It is a bit confusing for an old lady such as myself.
Kumasawa laughed to smooth it over, wiping away a cold sweat. Why are you acting like you're guilty of something, Kumasawa? You could just say that it's a story you heard, even if you did make it up. She might have seemed confused, but she actually did understand what Erika was saying. In truth, she had been vaguely aware of how the legend of Akujikishima, which had been around before Ushiromiya Kinzo had come to Rokkenjima, and the legend of the Golden Witch, the story of the woman who had given Kinzo a vast quantity of gold, had both transformed. She didn't want to acknowledge it, but she knew. The setting where Beatrice hated the spirit mirror and spiderwebs, This had been based on the ancient legend of Akujikishima. The evil spirits part of that legend had just been replaced by the Witch of the Portrait.
So, if there really was someone claiming to be the Golden Witch Beatrice, I'd really like to ask her whether she actually does hate spiderwebs or not. What happens when she touches them?
It is said that witches and their minions receive burns when they touch spider webs. So that is probably what would happen, I suppose.
That's not bad. A splendid witch trial. If the spiderweb touches her and she gets burned, then she's an evil spirit, not a witch. And if nothing happens, then it proves she's just a human. In other words, whether she's burned or not, it will prove that the Golden Witch doesn't exist. The legend of the witch is nothing more than the legend of Akujikishima reboiled with a new face on it.
Well,
Simply by the existence of the legend itself, this level of reasoning is possible for Furuta Erika. What do you think, everyone?
Though only the two of them were in the lounge, Erika faced in the direction of where an invisible audience would have been,
she's looking at us.
and shrugged. She is looking at us. It's just like with Lambda Delta earlier. It's And, just as Erika imagined, the targets of her comments actually were there, listening in. Oh, and so she's referring to the these guys. These.
Spiderwebs? They burn if you touch them?
When Beato the Elder snapped her fingers, a graceful silver spiderweb slipped down from the ceiling, hanging by a transparent thread. Afterwards, only a single silver strand remained. Timidly, Beato stretched her finger out towards the spider's string. Then, she touched it.
I'm fine.
You are?
Huh?
Beato the Elder lifted up a white pale finger, and after showing it to her little sister, she traced the silver string with it. There was a stench like a single hair being burnt. Once again, she held her finger up in front of Beato, who was stunned. And there was a thin burn line, as though someone had traced across it with a razor.
What's going on?
That's what I would like to know. Why are you unharmed?
I don't know. What I don't understand is why you do get burned by touching a spider web.
I do not know. It has always been like that since I first gained consciousness.
Then, are you...
Beato hesitated. However, her question was clear.
No, I am not one of the evil spirits of Akujikishima. I am Beatrice, ruler of Rokkenjima's night. Even I do not know why I have the same weakness as the island's evil spirits of old.
Are spiderwebs the only things you can't handle?
As this Erika person said, I cannot touch the doorknob to Kinzo's study. That scorpion magic circle burns me. For me, trying to open the door to that study is like trying to pick a red-hot horseshoe out of a fire. What about you?
Huh? Scorpion magic circles, you mean?
The older sister snapped her fingers again. When she did, the surrounding scene bent and twisted, and they had suddenly moved to the place in front of Kinzo's study. And there was the doorknob engraved with the scorpion magic circle.
Those who research magic must have a refuge sealed off from both human and spiritual disturbances. It's no surprise that Kinzo chose to seal off his study and place a charm such as this here. And unfortunately, that affects me as well.
She gently grasped the doorknob. As she did, a violent burning sound, unbelievably stronger than the one caused by the spiderweb, rang out.
One-sama, are you okay? Your hand. Ah!
Her hand had been horribly burnt, and Beato couldn't help but avert her eyes.
Fear not. This scratch will heal quickly.
Apparently, it would heal by itself if left alone. The older sister seemed to heal at an inhuman rate.
However, it seems that you can handle it just fine.
She timidly poked the doorknob. Nothing happened. Slowly, she touched it with her entire palm, but she felt nothing but a pleasantly cool sensation.
Strange. Though you are my double, you are different from me in several ways.
While I might be able to touch the doorknob, if I ever get burnt like you did, I don't think I'd heal that easily.
It's as though you're a normal human.
Yes. Even I find it a little hard to believe that I'm a witch. I can't use magic like you, and I can't get strange burns or heal from them later on. Father believed that I was a great witch reborn, but I cannot believe that.
Who are you?
That's what we've all been wanting to know.
I am Beatrice. I was born for father's sake. And you, One-sama?
I am also Beatrice. I used magic to give Kinzo gold, and later became a soul in the formless witch that haunts this island. Where's your answer?
Just who on earth are we?
Unlike me, you seem to be a being in possession of a body.
Huh? Really?
Yes. I thought of it while listening to that Erika person. I am a witch who can use magic but has no body. And you are a witch who has a body but can use no magic. Eventually, perhaps we will become one, each filling in what the other lacks to form the true, complete Beatrice.
It seemed to make sense. Both of the Beatrices were missing something. If they became one, then they would surely be very close to the Beatrice that Battler desired.
Do you want to try? Huh? Hold out your hand.
The older sister slowly raised her palm and held it out before Beato. The large burn from a second ago really had started to heal already.
It may be possible for us to become one. I want to know as well. By becoming one with you, I want to learn about my future self.
Beato also raised her hand, slowly. And the two hands touched.
Oh.
But nothing happened. Perhaps this meant that, while they were fated to become one eventually, that time had not yet come.
For me, being burned by spiderwebs is perfectly normal. However, you didn't even know about it. In the same way, you say that the reason you were born was for your father's sake. Apparently, that father is Ushinomiya Battler. I know him as a rare guest who only comes a few times a year. But I cannot understand what connection you and I have with such an infrequent visitor. Surely we must learn more about each other.
Yeah, you're right. I get the feeling that learning about each other will lead us to something very important. On the other side lies the single future Beatrice. No, it may be more correct to call her the true form we are meant to possess.
With their hands still joined, the two Beatrices swore to fill in the parts the other lacked and regain their singular form. Bit by bit, Beato was walking down the path that led to the former Beatrice.
That's another chapter. That one was the one called The Lovers. So, do you want to do another, or are you good?
I can, but
Okay. I'm good to do another one, but I need to get a drink and I need to pee.
okay.
BRB.
Well, everyone, we're steadily chugging along here. We're getting a lot of Beatrice lore this episode. I don't know if we're going to figure out who she is necessarily, but I think we might figure out this episode what exactly the relationship between her and Battler before all of the visual novel kicks off is, and perhaps maybe even what Battler's sin is. Although it's kind of been heavily implied that Battler's sin has something to do with perhaps forgetting something about her, or just the fact that he forgot perhaps a promise he made to her or something like that. So who knows? But I think we might find that out this episode as well. As for the theory of who Beatrice is when it's not the witch doing the killing, I still have no idea yet who that could be necessarily. I mean, in multiple of the episodes, it's been shown that multiple different people could have done it. So last episode, it was proven Nazi could have done it. The episode before that, or 2 episodes before that, it was proven that Ava could have done it. Well, not proven, but shown that Ava could have done it. So we know at least the 2 of them could have possibly been the murderers. That already makes it difficult. We don't even know, still, I haven't tried to figure out who was doing it in episode 1 and 2, who was doing the murders. Although 2, this might just be my own personal bias, but I'm just inclined to believe that Rosa did it, because she was just trying to be very controlling of the whole situation. But who knows, right? Who knows? So far, it could have been many of the women. Many of the women had the capability. And I mean, the game has set it up so that pretty much everyone has the motivation to do it too, for some reason or another. So, like, who knows, right?
Okay, I'm back.
Oh, wait. I think we're back with the funny room.
Oh, yeah, indeed. Probably.
So until we know who this is, I'm just going to be reading it as me, like I have been.
Okay. Yep.
I could hear the eerie sound of wind and rain. Once again, I hazily regained consciousness on top of the bed. The finger that the witch had bitten off, oh that's right, that's what happened last time, was attached to my hand. That's not to say that it was all an illusion, but my finger was now attached. After all, the pain and the teeth marks, as though the witch had bitten it, were still there. What if instead of Beatrice she was called Freakatrice? And yet, the window, which I had supposedly smashed, had been fixed as though it had never been broken in the first place. How can I escape from this creepy room? Why am I locked up in this eerie room all alone? I want to get out. I have to get out. Please, let me out. The door was sealed with a firm chain. I could open it a crack, but only enough to peek out into the corridor at best. Even getting just a fist through it would probably be hard. The window wouldn't budge either. It was no better than a barred prison window. The bathroom didn't even have a window. The only thing that could get you out of there was the water that flowed out if you turned on the tap. No matter what I do, I can't think of a way out of here. While shut up in a place like this, I truly am a prisoner. Unless someone comes from the outside to save me, I won't be able to get out for all eternity. In that case, can't I just call for help? Yes, the tiny gap I can make in that door must exist so that I can call for help. But can I make the words come out? Earlier I tried to call out for help, but for some reason the words couldn't escape my mouth. Maybe I was just confused. I might have lost my voice in the haste and confusion. I'll open the door and make that crack appear one more time. The warm light of the hallway flowed in, making the darkness of the room stand out all the more. Though I couldn't hear any voices, I did feel something peaceful. I'm sure everyone's in the room at the other end of the hallway, chatting happily about something. If I can just call out, surely someone will come to save me. Holding back some indescribable fear, I tried yelling once more. But the result was the same. It was like trying to yell underwater. All I did was get out of breath, unable to call out in the slightest. Even though I could say as much as I wanted if I just grumbled to myself inside the room, whenever I tried to make my voice reach outside, I choked and was unable to say anything. I understand. My body isn't the only thing locked up in this eerie closed room. My voice is, too. Thinking that I could use some other kind of sound to call for help, I tried opening and closing the door violently, making the chain rattle. It does sound as though it's clanking noisily, but it's surely no good. Even this sound is being locked in this closed room. No matter how harsh a sound I make, I'm sure it'll be quieter than a leaf falling by the time it reaches the other end of the corridor. I tried using the hateful chain that sealed the door to make a sound to call for someone, but that only deepened my despair. Huh? This chain. That's insane. Just a second ago, it was a stiff chain that looked like it might be used to seal a monster away. But at some point, it had transformed into a normal chain lock. This changes everything. Now I can just undo it from the inside. I tried to undo it, but the chain wasn't long enough for that while the door was still open a crack, and I couldn't get it off. Obviously. Calm down.
Gulp indeed.
I gulped and calmly closed the door. Then, when I saw the chain had slackened enough, I touched it with my finger to make sure. When I was little, I hated chains because I could never get them undone right. However, that was a long time ago. Now I can undo something like this. Anyone could. It's easy. Clank. I imagine the demon who locked me in this room using this as a trap to give me hope, just to make me despair even more. But I pushed those thoughts aside for the time being. I undid the chain lock and the chain dangled there, right before my eyes. Now, there's no lock sealing this door. Please, don't torment me anymore, and just open normally. Slowly, the door opened. When I closed the door to undo the chain, the warm light from the hallway got cut off. If I open it again, what if that warm light is gone this time? I was even afraid of stuff like that. However, that was just me over-imagining things. Slowly, quickly. No, I guess this is normal for a door. As the door let out an annoying creak, the exit from this cursed closed room finally opened.
He did it!
I did it. I did it. Even my cry of joy was strangled. But that doesn't matter anymore. All that matters is that I can get out. Invisible wall. Boom. I poked my head out and looked left and right down the corridor. The warm corridor. I could sense people having fun at the other end. Everyone's right there. Now you're not going to be able to get in that door. Let's go. Right now.
Chain lock.
Yeah. Ball and chain on foot. Oh, or something just crushing your windpipe.
Foot and ball on chain.
Yeah?
I didn't realize what I said until after I said it.
At that moment, something cold and heartless crushed my throat. Oh, on the neck. It was as though an iron loop had been fastened around my neck and pulled on hard from behind. What if instead of Beatrice, she was called... No, not as though. Without my knowing, at some point, a thick metal collar had been fastened around my neck. I'm just saying, the only other time we've seen a thick collar fastened around someone's neck in this is when Beatrice did that to Battler in episode 2.
Oops.
When did this happen? When I turned around, I despaired even more. Out from the inner side of the door I had just opened, a thick chain had extended and attached itself to this collar I was wearing. I pulled on it, but it didn't even budge. When I shook it, the whole door creaked. What? The hell? The chain that connected to my collar was attached to the inner side of the door. Yes, the same vanishing chain that had secured the door a short while back had suddenly become a chain holding me in place. That's insane. That's insane! Damn it, what's going on here? I pulled with all my strength, trying to tear the whole door off, but I already knew from repeated experiments that it wouldn't even budge. I'm sure this chain will disappear once I go back inside the room, but it'll never let me leave that room. Though it had apparently turned back into a normal chain lock, nothing had actually changed. The chain lock still bound me to that room. Tears flowing down my face, I pulled with all I had. It was completely useless. No matter what I did, I'd never tear it loose. And I wasn't even permitted to call out for help. I felt a confused anger at how the demon had mercilessly made me think that I'd escaped for just an instant. But no matter how much I yelled, no voice came out, and no one on the other end of the corridor could hear me. Then, I noticed an odd stain on the wall of the corridor. It wasn't a stain. They were letters, traced out by a finger that had been covered in red paint. Those letters, which looked like they'd been drawn in blood, answered my biggest question. The chain lock must be set. You're allowed to unset it, but it must then be reset. Unless it is set, this exit of yours will be unusable. I instantly understood the meaning of that ominous message. Then I tried it out and understood it completely. When I returned to the room and reset the chain lock, the collar around my neck disappeared. When I undid the chain lock again, the heavy feeling around my neck returned. In other words, I cannot leave this room while the chain lock is unset. In that case, why don't I just set the chain while outside the room? I undid the chain one more time. The collar and chain appeared around my neck again. I stepped out into the corridor and closed the door behind me, leaving only the slightest of cracks. I stuck my head through that crack, grabbed the dangling chain, and tried to reset it somehow. Damn it. Even though it was so easy to do from the inside, why is it so hard to do from the outside? The gap needed to be wide if I wanted to manipulate the chain well. However, that made the chain too short to reach. To make the chain just a bit further, I'd have to close the door a little bit more. But if I do that, there won't be even enough of a gap to fit my hand in. Of course, that was perfectly natural. Chain locks are made to be used from the inside. They'd be completely pointless if you could set and unset them from the outside. That's why the length of the chain is specifically chosen to prevent anyone from setting or unsetting it from the outside. Simple, just have very long chain and the lock is on the side of the door with the hinges.
Fish up.
Yep. Then can I use some kind of hard and thin tool? If the gap of the door is just a finger's width across, that's more than enough for the chain to reach. If I could just bend a wire hanger so that it fits through the crack, and work the chain with that. That's right, there's a closet just to the side of the door. Could there be some hangers in there? Found one. Oh, thank God. A single cheap-looking hanger, like one you might find in a laundry room, was hanging there. Really? I'm pretty sure that when I last looked a short while ago, nothing like this was in the closet. Who cares? Quickly, quickly! I twisted the wire hanger, bending the end with the tip around. I formed a loop at the end to grab at things with, making for a sort of burglar's tool. Purple burglar alarm. I then dashed out into the corridor again and closed the door almost as far as it would go. My wrist could never pass through this. However, if I close it this much, the chain should have extra length to spare. And this crack is large enough for me to stick the hanger through. Now it's just a matter of technique. If I keep trying, I'll definitely be able to do it eventually. I'm certain of it. It's harder than it looks. But the chain is long enough. It isn't impossible. I had finally gotten my hands on the one way to escape. It was hard, yes, but it was theoretically possible. If it's possible, I'll be able to get out. I'll be able to escape from here. At that moment, I felt a heavy weight on the far side of the door. It felt as though someone inside the room had pressed their forehead against the door and was drawing closer. And she, the witch, had laughed. Then I felt a powerful force and strange force on the wire hanger. Is she trying to grab it away from me? Yeah, right, like hell I'll let go. Like hell I'll let my one key out of here get stolen while my guard's down. Fortunately, I'd stuck my wrist through it so that I wouldn't drop it if my hand got tired. You won't be able to snatch this out of my hands. I'm just gonna... It's making the noise, so... The witch on the other side of the door laughed at me. Then, I noticed something weird. I looked at my left hand, which I had pressed against the door to hold it in place. And between the fingers of that hand, I could see something red. They were red letters. I realized immediately. At some point in time, even more bloody letters had been drawn on the door, and my left hand had been covering them up. Still fighting against the vice-like strength of the witch beyond the door, I moved my left hand to the side. Where that hand had been, bloody letters had indeed been drawn. You can't use the coat hanger. You can.
Yeah.
And there, as though someone had predicted that I'd struggle this way from the very beginning, was a message from the witch to me. It is impossible to set or unset the chain lock from the outside by any means. You better hang up that coat hanger. Get back in here and kiss me on my hot mouth.
Kiss me on my hot closed room.
All tricks done from the corridor had been sealed by the red letters. Okay, so I'm like 99% sure at this point that this is Battler trying to get himself out of a logic trap.
You don't know that. You
Oh, no way.
Yeah, you get the gist.
There was suddenly a terrible sound, and the force pulling on the hanger was suddenly released. Then, when I pulled it out and looked, I lost all hope. As though it had been hit by the acid of the room's darkness, the tip of the hanger had burnt and bubbled and melted off. Now, it's pitifully short. This can't be used for anything. It would be useless to search for a substitute. All schemes to set the chain from the outside have been prevented. Damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it! I threw the remnants of the wire hanger against the floor, faced the hallway filled with a warm light, and called for help. However, I just choked, unable to speak at all. Everyone's just down the corridor, and everything's peaceful there. I can't hear the voices, but I know. I'm sure they're all having a good time playing cards. Please, someone notice. Someone, save me. Ha 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 ha.
There was 3 sets of quotes on that one.
Yeah. This time, it wasn't the witch's voice. It was the happy voices of everyone else, which I could hear coming from the other end of the hallway. Someone, come over here and save me.
I'm glad we checked in with them.
Mm-mm.
Anyway, back to the happy times, I guess.
Yep.
Sorry, but I'm out.
George slammed his last card down, ending the game with his victory once again. Everyone gasped in unison. The cousin room was filled with laughter as they enjoyed their card game. Whoa! So you really did have it, George Aniki? Damn you. Damn you, 6 of spades!
Your 8 of diamonds was pretty nasty too, Battler. I was so close.
Ooh, ooh, ooh! You're incredible, George Oni-chan! You won again!
Well, glad to see she's feeling better. Yep, looks like we've won again.
Maria couldn't really hold her own in an all-out battle, so she had teamed up with George, which was why she was celebrating his victory.
Utter defeat.
Kanon winced and let his cards drop to the table.
Who invited Shadow the Hedgehog?
The game of sevens between Kanon and the cousins had been a fierce battle. Normally, they would take things easy since Maria was there, so this sort of game was rare. Kanon had started taking the game seriously, unwilling to lose, so George and Battler had responded, and the battle had grown fierce. Unlike Battler, who was carefree enough to enjoy it whether he won or lost, Kanon's mood changed drastically with every victory and defeat. It was less of a dislike for losing and more that he just wasn't used to playing. He wasn't used to trading a few wins and losses with his opponents, so he took even losses within a game seriously. Since he had resolved to win and had unfortunately challenged the veteran players George and Battler, the result was plain to see. As Kanon slumped his shoulders, Jessica slapped him on the back.
Hey, you almost had it. I love
Yeah.
fighting all out like this. Thanks, Umineko. Thanks for that.
Whether you go all out or not, if you just lose in the end, it's all pointless.
That's not true. If you really gave it your all, there's no reason to get all depressed when you lose. If you lost after hardly trying, then you'd be grumbling and complaining about how you would have won if you just taken it seriously, right?
That's right. People who really give it their all never complain. They're always cheery, no matter what the result is.
You're right. And they can be scarier than anyone else. They always learn something from their experience and grow. Very true. I was a coward, so I could never learn anything.
Coward.
I see that I am still immature. I am furniture, so any dreams I might have are pointless.
Because he'd rigidly believed that, he'd distance himself from everything, shutting himself away. However, during that same time, Shannon had undergone many life adventures, and now her hand was resting on the door, separating furniture and humans. The old Kanon would have only seen this card game as a way to pass the time. However, the new Kanon was now capable of gaining something new from this experience.
I hope you learned from this cool experience.
That's probably what it means to grow. Furniture does nothing but rot with the passage of time. The ability to grow is a privilege given only to humans.
Now what?
Thanks for playing with us. You probably have work to do, like filling in the log, right? I'm really glad you decided to hang out with us.
Don't worry about it. I had a lot of fun too. Or should I say that I've realized that this sort of thing is fun. Thanks for pushing so hard for me to come.
Yeah.
Let's challenge ourselves more and more. And let's go find more and more things you didn't know about. By the way, about what we were talking about earlier, ever wanted to try playing guitar? Well, I don't want to force you or anything, but
It must be very difficult.
yeah, I guess. But I'll do a good job teaching you, and I'll even practice with you. Well, I guess I'm not that much of an expert myself.
At first, Kanon was scared that he might make a complete fool of himself if he touched a musical instrument for the first time in his life. After all, he knew that screwing up like that would make him feel bad. However, Kanon was starting to learn.
It's only natural that I'll be bad when I first start. If I try to run away from it, I'll never learn a thing for all eternity. I'll never achieve anything.
That's right. Isn't that why people love it when they feel themselves improving? Even I sucked at making my left and right hands move at the same time when I first started. But I slowly got the knack of it, and it started to feel more and more natural.
I'd like to reach that level too. If one path to that goal is playing music with you, milady, I would love to do that with you.
Really?
Yes. I'm sure I'll be horrible when I start, and I might even make you lose hope in me at times.
Dang.
But if I've given it my all, even messing up is no big deal. That's what I learned from you all just now.
You're embarrassing me.
I love you more than ever, milady.
I just imagined right now, like Scooby-Doo gang style, Maria Battler and George pressing their ears against the door.
Erika pressing her ear against the wall to the cousin's room to try to go quiet.
Yeah.
Because I averted my eyes for so long, even though you shone like the sun, I never noticed I never noticed you when you were right there next to me.
Then I better work even harder to make you love me even more.
Yeah.
Kanon's serious and competitive words were more than enough to make Jessica shy. However, Kanon's expression unexpectedly clouded.
Milady, the reason I love you is so clear. Because of that, I can't bear not knowing.
Not knowing what?
Not knowing what? Oh.
Why did you start to like me?
Okay, we're gonna do this again, but with Jessica now.
Unlike you, I don't shine in any sense. Even now, I'm just clinging to your back as you shine the way. I can't think of any reason why you would love someone as shabby as me.
That's not true, okay? There are all kinds of good things about you, Kanon-kun.
Let me swallow my pride and ask, what about me made you like me, milady?
Emo.
Hair.
Kanon hung his head. Since he had never learned anything on his own, he had never been able to take the initiative with her in any way. The fact that he was accepting her affection one-sidedly, unable to do anything but simply receive it, made him sad and frustrated at himself. Jessica was lost for words. After all, compared to the reason that Kanon had started to love Jessica, Jessica's reason was a lot more vague. She had heard Shannon talking about her love with George, and at school, she and her friends had always talked about relationships with boys. There would have been nothing strange about a girl fascinated by the idea of romance developing an interest in a nearby member of the opposite sex. However, if you put that into words, it might be misinterpreted to mean that any nearby boy would have done just as well. However, she could still be proud of the feelings she felt at this very instant. She really did love Kanon, and she truly wanted to experience romance. As a result, they might end up together, or they might not. However, if she reached that result without holding back, she could accept it no matter what it was. That's why she was able to become serious and honest about how she felt. However, she couldn't find the right words to tell Kanon this. When Kanon saw Jessica bite her lower lip in frustration, he finally realized.
I'm such a fool.
Huh?
What about me do you like? That very question is foolish. It's proof that I'm not serious about myself, and that I haven't been able to understand even myself. It's horrible of me to try and make you say it for me.
That's not true. After all, it's the first question any girl would like to ask after being given a love confession. What part of me do you like?
It was immature of me to ask you that. How could anyone love someone so immature?
Wait, that's not...
Jessica panicked, trying desperately to explain how she felt. However, Kanon was calm. And then, he spoke.
In that case, I want you to love me. The way I already love you. I've decided to start changing myself so that can happen. I can hardly imagine that you would love me as I am. But someday, no matter what.
Yeah. I'm absolutely sure you'll become a wonderful person, Kanon-kun. A guy so cool that I can't keep my eyes off you. Until then, I'll stick by you all the way. We have plenty of time.
Red flag.
But unfortunately, there isn't that much time left. Oh, he knows. He knows what's up.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
It usually saddens you when I talk about furniture. However, this is something I must tell you. And it is also something I must fight for with all my soul.
What are you talking about? I don't want to hear any more of that I'm furniture so I can't fall in love talk. You're a human, not furniture.
Yes, I would like to become human. However, I am still furniture.
In that case, just do it. Become human.
The witch taught me once about the single element of this world. According to her, it's love. It's something that humans born into this world can take for granted. However, it is not something that those not from this world, who were born as furniture, can take for granted. In order to gain it for themselves, they must have magic or a miracle. True, in just the same way that Nason and George-sama would never have ended up as they have without borrowing the power of that golden butterfly brooch.
I don't really get that last part.
What don't you understand? Let me hear it.
Thank you for explaining it for us, Featherine and Anja.
Since this game began, a large portion of the time has been spent on Shannon and Kanon's determination to fall in love.
Anja right now being like, how is this plot relevant at all?
You know what this makes me think of?
Battle Cats Gamer in chat.
Oh, I remember Battle Cats. I haven't even seen them. This makes me think of Anja right now is saying, I don't understand what all this love has to do with this plot. And we are saying, oh, thank you so much. And then Erika says, I don't understand what this love has to do with all the plot. And we say, hello, human resources?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's pretty much what's happening here.
Oh. Two different lenses.
I've got no problem interpreting that as a story of growth and teenage determination for a girl and boy who call themselves furniture. But one of the assumptions they make feels really out of place to me.
Why is magic necessary? Is that it?
Both Shannon and Kanon call themselves furniture. They've always claimed that there can't be love between furniture and humans. At that point, the magic of the golden butterfly brooch comes into play, and as the miraculous result of its magic, love is established between Shannon and George Oni-chan. That's what they claim.
Might it mean merely that forbidden love between people of different classes would be unmanageable without a miracle of magic?
True. I can accept that Shannon and Kanon, who are servants in forbidden love with members of the family and suffering for it, might debase themselves by calling themselves furniture.
Then what is it that you cannot accept?
Without borrowing the power of magic once more, marriage will be impossible. That seems to be a common understanding between Shannon and Kanon. I just can't understand that part. After meeting in secret for quite some time, George and Shannon had finally gotten engaged. Both were fully prepared for it emotionally, and though there would be some trouble with the relatives, it would probably be impossible for anyone to prevent their marriage by this point.
Trying to stand between two who wish to be wed is as foolish as standing in front of an arrow and trying to catch it.
Exactly. Now that George Oni-chan has sworn to protect his lover for the rest of their lives, he has no need to fear opposition and disinheritance from his parents. On the contrary, you might even consider that a perfect test of his love for her. In other words, they will be married, no matter what. No one can stop them, and they both consented to the engagement.
No one can stop them or impede them. Trying to break apart lovers is a foolhardy venture.
Yeah, and that's what's strange. There's no need for magic. If George and Shannon had wanted Ava's approval for their engagement, then magic might really have been necessary. After all, Ava had forbidden his relationship with her. No matter how much George spoke on Shannon's behalf, the chances of Ava being convinced were very near zero. If that were the case, it would be understandable if they wanted a magical miracle to make Ava acknowledge that engagement. However, George Oni-chan has already made an oath. He doesn't care whether his parents approve of the engagement or not. Yeah, there's nothing standing in the way of their engagement. And Shannon should know that well herself. So why is it that now, on this night where the proposal went so smoothly, she's still praying for a miracle of magic?
According to the furniture, she won't even have the right to marry without such a miracle.
And there you go. It means that Shannon has accepted George's proposal, but she knows that there's still some kind of barrier that can't be overcome without a magical miracle. And that barrier isn't something that they can overcome by their own efforts. That's why they need this miracle called magic. Why do they need magic? If two people love each other, what other miracle could they possibly need to be together?
I see.
Featherine listened to Anja's interpretation, smiling in a satisfied way. Apparently, she had already reached that conclusion, and enjoyed watching Anja finally manage to do the same.
And the same question applies to Kanon as well. The love between him and Jessica One-chan has just begun, but their emotions are pure. There's nothing standing in their way. They're already in a loving relationship, even without the golden butterfly brooch. The relationship they've started might easily last for years, eventually resulting in marriage. There's nothing standing in their way either.
As long as they don't seek approval from Kraus and Natsuhi, it seems that they will not need a magical miracle either.
Exactly. Kanon watched how Shannon lived and changed his own way of life. Then, he let his true feelings be known and started a relationship with Jessica One-chan. There's no need for magic anymore. If it were a one-sided love, then he might need a love charm or something. But their feelings are already mutual. They've already communicated their intentions to one another, so why do they still need a magical miracle?
Both furniture were in relationships of mutual love. There shouldn't have been any need for a miracle any longer. So why do they still desire some miracle? And on top of that, the single brooch was portrayed as bestowing only a single miracle. It felt almost as though Shannon was hesitating because if she used up that miracle for herself, Kanon's chances at love would be automatically sealed away for eternity.
So this is the question. Why is furniture not allowed to love?
So you ask why love will not be permitted without the miracle known as magic.
And also, though the furniture laments with such certainty that they're unable to love, this golden butterfly brooch is supposed to give them permission to do it. Just what on earth is it?
I don't know. Oh gosh, okay. Of course, it is a crystallization of magic. However, like most magics, it can be burnt by the anti-magic toxin. So it can only have an effect for those who believe in magic and witches. Correct. So, Shannon, who was capable of interacting with me, was able to make use of its benefits. However, if Shannon had dropped it on a sandy beach, and someone who knew nothing picked it up, if that person was shrouded in the anti-magic toxin, they wouldn't be able to make use of the brooch's magic power. Precisely. A witch's magical items often lose their power if they are not handed over directly. However, just as how a witch can manifest herself if her existence is acknowledged by a great many humans and the anti-magic toxin disappears, the power of that magical item can also be preserved if it is believed in by a great many humans. That's ironic. No matter what kind of magic we witches give out, everything depends on whether the humans we give it to can accept it. I have heard the same goes for medicine. Even with the exact same medicine, humans who know of the medicine's effect experience it to a greater degree. Oh, I think I understand. When taking cold medicine, I've gotten the feeling that it's more effective when you read the description on the bottle.
As she listened, Beato thought that magic sounded a bit like a ritual. When most humans think of magic, they think of incredible miracles being performed one after another in front of a crowd of other humans. However, this true magic that the older sister spoke of sounded almost like a ritual, something that has no effect if the person using it doesn't believe. Shannon's heart was captured by George bit by bit as he grew by leaps and bounds. However, she had given up, thinking that one of a different class such as herself would never find love with him. That was when Beatrice had given her the golden butterfly brooch and encouraged her. Giving up means that you've got zero chance of success. However, if the power of magic makes you think there might be some chance of your wish coming true, then the odds of it happening are at least greater than zero. Zero remains zero forever, so miracle is a fitting word to describe even a faint chance coming into existence. Humans can use magic to defeat resignation, the process by which they themselves make their probability of success zero. Well, we know with that boy. Without love. When a human refuses to give up, though their chance of success is maybe small, those chances do exist. And the more determined they become, the greater those odds rise. It was easy to imagine Shannon making earnest wishes upon that brooch, believing in its effect, and trying little things over and over again to get George to like her.
The power of belief becomes magic. And those who make others believe are witches.
Those who make others believe are witches. That's an interesting way to put it. If you think about it, it's true. Let's say a witch steps out into a spotlight, waves her staff in front of a crowd of onlookers, and makes a rabbit appear out of thin air. The many people who see it will surely assume it to be a sleight of hand. They might wonder at how it was accomplished, but they'll surely say that it couldn't have been real magic. And when they applaud, it will be for a splendid trick that only appeared to be magic. But what if someone performed a sacred ceremony inside a great ancient temple in front of a crowd of believers and ended up with the exact same result? Would any of the people there think it was a sleight of hand? In fact, in the ancient past, when magic tricks as a form of entertainment didn't even exist and divine spirits were worshipped, this would doubtlessly have been a miracle of magic.
In that case, could this here be magic? Aha! Well now, what will be the first spell performed by the witch unable to use magic? Here I have an empty teacup. There is nothing inside it. Yes, it is empty. And then you take it, turn it like this, and place it upside down on the table. And then, what next? Let's both close our eyes and chant the incantation.
It was the same magic that had been used to give Maria candies. Beatrice the Elder grinned and closed her eyes. When she saw this, Beatrice slowly chanted the incantation.
Come, try to remember what was inside the cup. Indeed. Come, try to remember what was inside the cup.
As she chanted, Beatrice slowly opened her eyes and made sure the older sister was repeating her with her eyes closed. Then, a single gold butterfly appeared out of nowhere, fluttered down onto the overturned cup, and scattered away in a golden splash.
Oh! May I open my eyes now? Yes, please open your eyes and inspect the contents of the cup. Well now, let us see how well your first bit of magic has performed.
Taking her time and dragging out the suspense a little, the older sister lifted up the cup.
Aha! How is it?
When the cup was lifted up, there lay a single golden rose petal.
Does this count as magic? Yes, it does. You used magic to create a golden flower petal inside an overturned cup. It was a splendid bit of magic.
Pulling out the gold.
Mm-hmm.
That's the line.
Without love, it cannot be seen.
I saw a really funny joke about that recently. I think it was a Twitter response where somebody was like, people watching Battler get abused for 500 hours by Beatrice, and then she says, without love it cannot be seen, and it showed somebody in a gif like jumping up screaming on like, whoa! True. And I was like, it's true.
That much I understand.
It may be viewed as a trick. It may also be believed to be magic. It all depends upon the toxin of the individual.
Then again, while this can explain some of the magic that's been used in the past, it can't explain everything. To get back to the point, all this stuff about believing in magic and rituals, It doesn't answer the question. What was this golden butterfly brooch, which allowed the furniture, who strongly believed that they could not love, to finally find love?
If we blindly accept the story of those two Beatos as true, might we assume that magic had the power to cancel out their feelings of resignation?
Why mustn't furniture fall in love? Why is the power of the magic brooch necessary? Yes, it does seem at a glance as though what you and the Beatos are saying provides an answer, though a vague one. However, let me say this as a reader. I can't accept this as you've presented it.
Her eyes narrowed.
She doesn't
on
like
that.
that. She does.
You cannot accept it, you say?
The tragedy those furniture are struggling to resist is way too big to be explained away by that. I doubt they could reform their way of thinking just because they were given some charm for making relationships. It's true that the brooch gave Shannon the chance she needed to get together with George Oni-chan, but sometime after that she said that she wanted to deepen their relationship without borrowing the power of magic, and even tried to give the brooch back to Beato. At that point, she supposedly rejected the miracle of magic for a time. So, why would that power be necessary again?
Well now, perhaps there is no way to say it except that love and marriage are very different things.
Featherine laughed, lightly. She had probably formed a theory of her own and was laughing at Anja, who hadn't reached it yet.
Let me hear it. What's your view?
I'd like to keep that to myself for just a while longer. And of course, watching you form doubts and let your mind race is one of the joys of being read aloud to. If I gave you my views, you would accept them and stop thinking. Then, having you read aloud would be no fun.
So, you're having me read a mystery novel you already know the answer to, just so you can enjoy watching me blunder about.
Hey, me and who?
Well, I am the Witch of Theater going. If you wish to laugh at my bad taste, please do not hold back, my Miko.
Wahahaha. I understand that part of magic is created by a believing heart, and that magic probably permeates deep into the world of us humans as well. However, though it permeates so far, the power that dwells within magic is small. Lots of people visit shrines to pray for success on tests. However, people rarely credit such a visit as the reason for their success. By itself, praying does little more than giving one peace of mind. In love, where even a small chance and a little bit of courage can result in major changes, this power can sometimes bring about incredible transformations. However, would something like that really be enough to change the insurmountable fate of furniture? In the past, when Shannon and George were brought together, I imagine that the brooch's magical power functioned as little more than a ritualistic charm. However, by now, the magical power that the furniture seek from that brooch is not something as vague as a ritual. It feels much stronger, like a whole different interpretation of magic. If you believe in a sleight of hand, it becomes magic. But that's no more than a child's trick. And that only explains one part of magic. They are hoping for something. They're hoping for something with much, much more power. For true magic, not a sleight of hand. So then, just what kind of magic is the furniture expecting from that brooch? golden butterfly brooch?
There exists a magic charm that the Golden Witch Beatrice gave to Shannon in exchange for smashing a mirror, in which made her love bear fruit. I got stuck in my head because if you say that with the wrong inflection, it sounds really funny. Love bear fruit.
Oh. Which made her love bear fruit.
I was thinking of the fruit of a love bear, whatever that might be. Anyway. Oh.
Oh, it's just a little. We're getting a little bit late, so
yeah.
I'm starting to be a little goofy.
That's what this is.
From his pocket, Kanon pulled a single wing from a gold butterfly. Though it was a single wing, it was easy to tell from its shape that it had originally been part of something with a butterfly motif.
The magic of this brooch gave Shannon the chance she needed to start her relationship with George-sama. However, before that magic was fully realized, she left it to me. So, thanks to the power of this brooch, I gained your affection, milady.
That's not true. I started liking you because of my own honest feelings.
Thank you very much. You are human, so you do not believe in witches or magic. It's only natural. However, as furniture created by magic, my very existence here is proof that the miracle of magic exists.
Jesse, what the hell are you talking about?
Sorry. What are you talking about?
Jessica tried to make sense of Kanon's words. However, she couldn't understand and had to ask him to repeat it, wearing a stiff smile.
I'm amazed they didn't do the cheesing face.
Same.
Both Shannon and I need magic to succeed in love. The key for that is this brooch. I stepped on it and crushed it, so we each have one part now.
The brooch had lost its power when it was split in half. However, if it was ever joined together again, its magic would be revived. It's almost like the two have the Beatrice. It would revive the miraculous power that could join furniture and human together. It's almost like the two.
Nope. However, a single brooch can only grant one person's wish. Only one of us furniture can be joined by this single brooch.
That was the final seed of love, a spark of love, which the old, shrilly laughing Beatrice had sown. The old Beatrice had said that humans tormented by this spark were like ripe fruit, which she crudely used for her own enjoyment. However, the magic infused within this seed was real. It was the only crystallization of magic that the Golden Witch Beatrice ever left in this world. Its glint increased.
Huh? What the?
It's okay. But please, don't look right at it. It'll blind you.
That's new.
Yeah.
The glint grew even stronger, shining like the sun. She looks like she tasted something bad.
She's struggling. Let her get through it.
Yeah. Even without Kanon's warning, Jessica wouldn't have been able to stop herself from covering her eyes with her hands. Jessica goes blind again. As the light grew stronger, a sound like the roar of the wind or the tide also grew in intensity. The ocean, the blue ocean! The sound of the wind and rain outside had already been overwhelmed. Jessica could no longer even stand, and she crouched on the floor. What is happening? A flood of sound and light. Until it withdrew, Jessica could do nothing but moan.
Yeah, I've been there.
God damn it. Oh.
Oh,
What?
that's it.
What is even happening? I don't even know what's happening. What?
So that chapter was Magic of a Different Interpretation.
Imagine you go out into the hallway with your newly acquired, in this case, girlfriend, and she just goes, "Hey, check out this cool thing that made you fall in love with me," and then it glows brighter than the sun, blinding you.
Yeah. All right.
Oh.
That's probably stopping time.
Yeah, that's probably
Before
a
we
good
get-
place to end it for now.
We're gonna go into the next chapter next time, with the chapter being entitled Zepar and Furfur.
What?
Yeah.
Are those the two girls?
I don't know.
It's the two girls. If you would have given me a straight no, I would have genuinely thought it wasn't. But since you answered like that, now I know it's them. Their names are Zepar and Furfur?
I don't know. Maybe.
I'll never tell.
But yeah. Pretty good one. We're just getting more of the setup. Obviously, this is Battler's game, so he's making it in such a way that's awfully peculiar, but he's also doing it in such a way that he's like, I want everyone to be happy.
Yeah. And also he's stuck. He's...
Oh, we don't know that. That could
I'm-
be Zepar or Furfur.
I will bet money that it's him, bro. That's how certain I am right now. That's him stuck in the closed room. All right.
But yeah.
Well, any announcements concerning the rest of the week?
No, just the usual. New Terranria tomorrow. I'm almost certain as well that I think that Terranria is the second to last Terranria. I'm not positive, but I think we're very close to the end. If not, that will be
Almost over.
next Monday will be the end, yeah.
And then you know what we're doing after that?
What?
Finishing Castle Crashers.
They don't even know. They don't even know. Maybe. I don't know. Tuesday, I will continue my playing of the TCG Card Shop Simulator. What a ride, by the way.
How's that
What a
going?
game.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, I streamed for like 5 hours last Tuesday. In my third or fourth card pack, I got a card that was worth $1,700.
Holy!
Yeah, it was pretty nice.
So you're set, is what you're telling me. You're
No, I spent it all. But we're moving right along. The goal is to get every unlock in the game, so we got a ways to go. But
okay.
but we're trying to get a new one. So far, that Wormgul was our best pull so far. We got to get a better one. Wednesday podcast.
Yep.
Thursday we should be back with Umineko. As far as I know, I have
Yes.
nothing in the way this time.
Yes. I'll be fine.
And I think Jordan's probably streaming Saturday. It seems like she's been
We got just
doing
a
that in the schedule.
carousel of different streams on Saturdays. Those are the variety streams. Jordan just kind of plays whatever she wants. So,
Yep. And then next Sunday again, more Umineko.
yeah.
Probably, unless something horrible happens.
All right. Well, see y'all then.
Yeah.